Welcome to Kranky Live, the show where bold minds meet real talk. This isn't your average sports or news show. It's where we break down sports, culture, and controversy with facts, fire, and fearless honesty. Here, truth cuts through the noise, and hype gets exposed. From football to track and field, from world issues to local debates, we ask the tough questions, speak without fear, and go deeper than the headlines. We don't follow the crowd, we set the trend. While others recycle the same tired takes, we bring fresh insight, unfiltered analysis, and bold perspectives. No echo chambers, no puppet talk, just real conversation for people who think for themselves. Listen with your brain, not just your ears. Think critically, question boldly, and speak freely. This is Kranky Live, where reason rules the mic and truth always win. Come on, let's get into it. Buenas noches, good night, everyone. Good night, how you doing? How we doing over in YouTube land? Bless up, Owen. Owen said good evening. Good evening is right. Put an L where it doesn't belong, that's how we speak. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Kranky Live show and the Balanced View show. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you being here. Today was a good day, actually. My foreign team won. Pity my local team can't win, but my foreign team won. Be the scripture against Sporting. And we're here to talk Jamaica football. We're not talking no Champions League today. We're here to talk Jamaica football. Because what we're hearing right now, something that we knew, but it's now come out in the public domain, is that Jamaica is keeping it local Jamaican. We're all about local Jamaican. And we got some inkling of this, you know. If you listen to Roy Simpson, what he said out when they had that business house meeting, where he talked about the need to move away from diaspora players. You hear the criticism of the previous coaches, who most of the persuasion was not black, but we also have black coaches between Tapa and Paul Hall. Right? Good evening, Peter. Good evening, Silly One. Interesting name. And somebody just sent me something. I'll look it up. Let's see how this somebody just sent me something, people. Well, if I look on this. Somebody sent me something about Mount Pleasant. Yeah. Interesting. I missed the person that said, what up, people? What up? Somebody sent me something that the FIFA has banned Mount Pleasant from registering new players, either nationally or internationally. So I'm gonna read it. Real news just come over the wires from an interesting source. Now I don't know who said it to me. It says, hey, people say they watch my program and I don't tell. The club Mount Pleasant Football Academy, the respondent, so either they've been sued or they've been taken to FIFA, is found responsible for failing to pass a second compliance assessment in relation to allocation statement AS 103CA at EPP blah blah blah. The respondent is barred from registering new players either nationally or internationally until the FIFA clearinghouse SAS confirms that the respondent has passed a subsequent compliance assessment. The respondent, who is Mount Pleasant, shall pay a fine to FIFA in the amount of 3,000 CHF. What's CHF again? By now, I'm not Swiss franc. The respondent is granted a final deadline of 30 days as from the notification of the present decision in which to pay the fine upon the expiration of the aforementioned final deadline, and in the event of persistent default or failure to comply in full with the decision within the period stipulated, Additional measures may be imposed by the FIFA disciplinary committee. So, was there an issue between Mount Pleasant? Who was it? Did somebody report Mount Pleasant about their registration of players, and there was a big brouhaha, blah blah blah? But I guess he went to FIFA, and FIFA squeezed them until they banned from registering. Him sound like a Chelsea ban. Well, Chelsea wasn't even banned. I'm get fined 10 million. So Mount Pleasant been banned from registering players. It's interesting. Didn't somebody send me something this evening about the owner of Mount Pleasant talking about conflict of interest? And I think I saw that, you know. I think I saw that someplace. I gotta think about where I saw that, but somehow somebody sent it to me this evening. People, when I stop getting off things, you know, some of them may have to just not talk to them. Oh no, and say it's all good. Why people? I said about me in a star. It's all good, Kranky. Local people don't even support the Reggae Boyz. The diaspora shows more interest, so let them use local players. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Oh no, and I do think. Well, I'm gonna manage that. The diaspora probably support them more through platforms and mediums, but I don't think they support them as much in person when they're playing in the US, even though I do think Jamaica need to get more games on the East Coast and in Florida, and then garner support for those games, right? Like when you're right, when we went to the Unity Cup in London, it was really well supported, and they're going back in May, and I'm sure it's gonna be supported again. I don't think it was promoted that well the last time either, so there'll be a different promotion, a better promotion done. They'll get the support. I mean, people are, especially in London, which is so far away, and it's New York and next door, they're dying to engage with Jamaica Connection, Reggae Boyz, so they'll get the support. Bless up Ted Dexter. Bless up Jargons. Thanks for being here. So that's interesting. Mount Pleasant is now in the hot seat. I don't think the owner is going to be happy. But I think, I know somebody just mentioned that he was talking about something about conflict. But we get into all that this evening because it's important to talk through all of this. So I do have an agenda, and I was supposed to post my agenda, but I was in such a hurry. But we'll talk about a couple of things for the agenda. We're going to talk about this situation, the Observer article that talked about what President Ricketts said and how it affects the coaching of the Reggae Boyz. We'll talk about the World Cup failure a little bit. We'll talk about the case for and the case against Rudolph Speid being coach. We'll talk a little bit about the local versus foreign debate, about money and competence, and also what we believe should happen next, right? So we'll go through all of that because I think all that is important. Now, here's the question. So Jamaica failed to qualify for the World Cup. And the failure, obviously, resides with the JFF. I hear people at Maverick saying that President Ricketts should not take the blame. It should all reside with Rudolph Speid. In any company, people, any walk of life, whether it's in church with the main pastor, whether it's in the corporate environment with CEO and presidents, whether it's your government with your prime minister or your president, the person at the top of the chain owns the organization in terms of being responsible and accountable for anything that happens in the organization. Even when you have 1,000 people under your remit or 10,000 people, you own it. So when something goes wrong, yeah, there may be somebody who's directly related to that situation. But if that person was charged with putting forth someone to run the organization on their behalf, and if that person doesn't succeed, then both parties are accountable. Because when you make a decision to bring that person in to run your organization, you have decided to transfer that responsibility to that person. So you own it. They're attached to you. And this concept that, oh, Ricketts shouldn't own it because Rudolph Speid shouldn't own it because Rudolph Speid was the man, the architect of this, they both own it. Does Rudolph own a lot of it? Yeah, he does, but you can't absolve the president from this. And the president needs to own it. He can't be a Teflon dot. Nothing sticks to him. Now, the question tonight is this. The person who hired the coach, and I know we keep talking about this whole thing about, oh, was recommended to the board. I'm going to stop the nonsense, man. Rudolph run things. Okay, Rudolph, are you run things, Rudolph? And you know you run things. You can't say you went to the board approved. And somebody asked you the question now. And here's another thing to people, the traditional media. Me can't stop beat them now. When they ask question and somebody avoid the question or evade the question, if you follow up, let the person say them not answer it. And you say, okay, we don't want to kill the interview, so me move on. But don't ask the question. And then when you said to Rudolph, and I heard Zinedine said this, he said something like, well, no, man, you know, say you run things. And, has there ever been a time we recommended something to the board and they didn't approve it and Rudolph just moved on? I thought that was interesting, actually. Because therefore what he's saying is that it's a rubber stamp thing. And I was told by a JFF insider that most things that the president want get done, right? People now, it's hard to override a CEO or to be contrary to a CEO. But traditional boards different from the JFF board. Traditional boards are the ones who hire the CEO. And traditional boards in most corporation, the chairman of the board is normally the one who has overall responsibility for the company. They hire the CEO, it's a delegate of theirs, and they can fire the CEO and they can override the CEO. It doesn't normally work that way in practice. A lot of times they're aligned, or the CEO finds some way to convince the chairman, but that's how it normally works. But in this case, the board is depending upon the JFF and its leadership, because think about allocation of funds to the parish president, for example. If you piss off the CEO, he must say, I'm not giving them funds. What you do? Now, like you have some process, an allocation process, whereby the designation of funds is bifurcated in a certain way where, you guarantee your portion regardless of where you vote and how you vote. It don't work like that. So what we have is an oligopoly, a small group of individuals who run Jamaica football, who are subjected to no one and their perspective. As them say at Jamaica, you can't do nothing about it. You have to hold that. So we have to hold that. We know that. They know that. And so it work. People say them about boycott. Rudolph said the other day, when the man asked what the fan them can do, Rudolph said, no, come support the team. Which you could infer from that saying, all you can do as fan is come pay your money and come on the game. Otherwise, shut up and go about your business. Right? No matter with this thing about you want to come run things. You don't run nothing. And we run things. And if you don't like it, then don't support the team, because don't support the team anyway. And to be honest with the JFF, the fans don't support the team. Because fan support means a lot, in the context of you put out your money, you put out your time, you put out your effort. Now, people may put out time in these forums, for example, but they're not spending money if you got on game. Even in the US, when them come out, when we go game in the US, if you go on, I went to Guatemala game in New York, a friendly against Jamaica. It was embarrassing. The Guatemalans, them treat football different. They come out with the entire family. People left, right, and center, the entire family come out. You went to the stadium, so the stadium was 45,000. More than that. I think it's about that. We went to Red Bull Stadium, I think it was. We have the population, the capacity is. But if you had 1,000 Jamaican, you had enough. Pure Guatemalan, you see. It was a friendly game, mainly local players. But it gave you some and Guatemala would be the same way. Give some inkling and perspective as to the fan support, which is lacking. So if you're a JFF, you don't want to care about no fan thing, because you get the money from Adidas and sponsors. Fan not spend a portion of money. One time fan go game at Jamaica is when them play like against Curacao. If we look at the other games against Dominican Republic, against Cuba, nobody not turn up. Few people in the grandstand. So why should JFF give a damn about what you say and how you say it, and you a boycott? People, when you say no boycott, why not boycott? Because boycott mean you not spend your money, I said, boycott mean, When we go to Jamaica, I try to buy a jersey. We couldn't find one Adidas jersey at Jamaica. They're not out of Jamaica. So it's sure that the support not come from Jamaica. No, the overseas, the jerseys are sold to those individuals overseas, and they're not all black people either. It's a different persuasion. So them link it with the Bob Marley thing because they want to expand that base. So I don't think boycott is going to do a damn thing, because you're not spending your money anyway. Right? Now, when I do my assessment, because there's some people in the JFF who hate my guts, like literally hate my guts. And they will complain and they'll talk to the people about not talking to me. I'm going to tell the same people in the JFF that the people them who do it. Some of them people who I know, and they're a hypocrite, and they're a Judas. Some of them, I might throw my word, not Judas. If you go away. Some of them are Judas. When you're not a Judas thing, go about your business. Stay in your corner, stay in my corner. So I'm not Judas. And I can go tell people behind my back X, Y, Z. I'm going to tell them, it don't make a difference to me. I do my show. I can't stop this. And the fact of the matter is, I try to be as unbiased as possible in this forum with the goal of trying to bring light to certain information to people. We don't try to bring down nobody, but if you feel we can't support you, then we there. If you fail, and here's the thing, some of the same people there, if they were in my seat and they weren't conflicted and they weren't a certain way, I don't want to use the word corrupt. Can be very careful with that word there. But if they weren't conflicted, they'll have the same view me have and say the same thing me say. Now let's do is what reported. You'll bring up the article. If you read it from the Observer. So I don't know if you can read that. Right? I'll read the article. So we talked a lot on this channel. I made a case not too long ago that the whole thing about Rudolph Speid being the coach of the national team has been orchestrated. And if you go back to Rudolph being interviewed on Sportsmax with the gentleman who died now, condolences to his family, and the lady who was on there, I think it's a Trinidadian lady, and he was asked a question about the national team, and Rudolph said he wanted to coach a national team. I truly believe the decision was made by then. No doubt in my mind. Right? No doubt in my mind. I truly believe that the decision was made by then. Way back when I saw my people. It was even made before then. And here is why. So, we realized that there are a couple of things that we have heard more recently which shed light on this. We've talked about the move to local coaches for the junior team. So, eventually it will be the senior team have a coach. That's without a doubt. That's been very obvious. We have the JFF talk about the funds being lost because of not making the World Cup. People will lose $12 million. It was easier to make the World Cup than not to make the World Cup. Jamaica lost out on $12 million because of incompetence. Seriously. Them things, you can't forget them. People keep focusing on, this person, do this and that. No, people. When it comes to money, because that's why you see America and Middle East now, with the Iran thing, I'm about oil and money, Israel have their own objective, but oil and money. So when you lose up on $12 million, that means somebody will do them job right. Somebody has to go. But in Jamaica, people get rewarded. It's opposite, people. Instead of you being penalized, you get rewarded. But from the summer, Rudolph saying the team, people say, I didn't think Rudolph wanted to be coach of the Jamaica team. I think he wanted to be president of the JFF and then maybe a big role in a Caribbean and a big role in a FIFA. That's why I view in terms of ambition. But apparently he want to coach the national team. Well, apparently he's going to coach the national team. And the Observer article speaks to that. Right? So let's go to the article. It says, JFF president to shut door on foreign coaches wants Speid and Co to continue long term. Now, that's an interesting headline, so let's go through it. It says, since the start, hoping I can read that, Since the start of the 21st century, should be a comedy. Anyway, I'm just me. The Jamaica Football Federation has appointed 7 foreign head coaches to lead the Reggae Boyz. However, that trend could now be over as President Michael Ricketts says he will now prioritize local options after what he described as Steve McLaren's mismanagement of the national men's team. So, let me say this, people. So, the president is saying McLaren mismanaged the national team. Right? Now, so I blame McLaren for all the problem. And who are McLaren? Who are McLaren people? Want to tell me who are McLaren now? If you blame McLaren and you not blame yourself, it shows you never have accountability, star. Exactly a week ago, Jamaica's dream of competing in this summer's FIFA World Cup came crashing down after their 1-0 loss to DR Congo of Africa in the Intercontinental Playoff final at Guadalajara, Mexico. It was the second time in as many months the Reggae Boyz missed a chance to end this near 3-decade drought after failing to automatically qualify during the final run of CONCACAF World Cup qualifying matches last year. Following the 0-0 draw with World Cup bound Curacao at the National Stadium last November, McLaren resigned immediately after 16 months in charge, failing to win in 12 of his 23 matches. Rudolph Speid was then appointed on an interim basis with Michael Ricketts as his assistant. I can tell you this, based on some conversation I've had, the JFF knew that McLaren was ill-equipped for this job after the Unity Cup. They knew this. And they did nothing about it. And then they went to the Gold Cup and got more evidence, and they did nothing about it. Right? And then they played the first round, the second round, and lose to Curacao, and did nothing about it. And then how we had to blame McLaren. McLaren, you blame the man when the man incompetent. Blame yourself because you made the decision after decision after decision. You hired him. Yes, we won the Unity Cup. But even then, people knew something not right. Him come at Gold Cup and was horrible. You do nothing. When him play Nations League against the US, him should get fired from that time there. I was saying it then. But he did nothing about US running rampant through us and he made no change. He should have been fired then. So we had like 4 or 5 chances to fire him. I want to fire him. And then we just say, I feel him fault. Oh, I feel him fault. I can't feel him fault. Are you a fault? Can you not fire him? Let's keep going. Previously, former Reggae Boyz star Theodore Whitmore led the team from 2016 to 2021 before his former assistant and national teammate, Paul Hall, took over on an interim basis. Carl Brown, Wednesdale Downswell, and John Barnes are the only other Jamaican coaches to lead the team in the last 26 years. Speid and Coley's contracts as interim coaches expired last week following the completion of the World Cup playoffs. With the positions currently vacant, Ricketts told The Observer that his hires are firmly on his current Jamaican options as he regrets trusting McLaren with the team's future. So, Mr. Ricketts, President Ricketts, I know you have regret of you don't feel. You had so many opportunities. You realize McLaren didn't want to live in Jamaica. You realize McLaren was on vacation. The YouTubers call him out 24/7, but because I don't respect YouTubers, because they don't have no sense, I know that the smart one, only no listen to them. Them are idiot, them are fool, them don't know nothing, them just run off them mouth. Unless the traditional media and ourselves. We've been calling for McLaren was incompetent forever. And I say you should always listen to fans. But we're giving rationale. We talked about him being lazy. We talked about him being on vacation. We talked about him being tired. We talked about him not knowing the players. And you same guys in the JFF had Meron Gordon as his assistant. And I don't want to knock Meron Gordon because I don't know Meron Gordon. But you didn't think he was good enough to be Speed's assistant, but he's good enough to be Hogginson's assistant and McLaren's assistant. And then you go all the way to Qatar for Coley, who has a pro license for bringing me now. So you want good support, and you went to Arsenal and get Donald to come bring him in now. Why you do that for McLaren? Are you want to tell us? McLaren was his own people. Well, Meron Gordon was his own people. Meron Gordon wasn't Hogginson's own people. He goes on to say, I tried a game with overseas coaches and the rest is history. I don't think the program was managed very well. Now, these local coaches are living here. They see our local players. They watch game. They keep abreast of what's happening in the club. Maybe because I'm bad word, but not online. What the president talk about, people? Do you guys understand what the president is saying? Come in and understand. Wait. So let me understand something. The president is saying that the local coaches on the ground see local players, and therefore what's inferred from that is that that's your selection basis of players. That is garbage. Garbage. That's nonsense. How many local players played in the World Cup qualifiers? Locally based players. How many local players was in Rudolph's squad for the 2 games, and how many got on the damn field? I can tell you there was about 4 and none got on the field. I didn't get close to the field. What are we talking about? So if you're a locally based, don't put up an excuse there for the nonsense. I agree that the coach should be on the ground in Jamaica. But that's not the rationale alone, people. It's a bigger picture. How many local players do we migrate to play in the MLS, in Europe, in other leagues? Do we get a ton of them out? What you should be talking about, President, what you're talking about, Chong's calling Prezi, is how you can develop the football. Talk about Andrew Peart and how you get the coaches better and how you can develop local football. And if that was part of your rationale here to say, you know what, that person can help develop the football, Kohli can help develop football, they can get players at a certain level to compete globally. You talk about local league, people focus on bad word. Prezi, let me tell you something, Prezi. The JPL is ranked 10th in CONCACAF, and 130th in the whole goddamn world. If we see a team that rank 130th, we lose our mind. We're going to play against them. Caledonia's ranked like 150, we start smile. The league is ranked 130th. How many good players do you can get out of a league ranked 130th, Prezi? How many good players do you think you can get out of a league ranked 130th? How many? Please tell me. And then I talk to somebody today. I come to somebody today and I talk about my bias. Can me talk about speed and the conflict? And I said, the person say, when you're national coach people, I'm going to get into that. I'm not touch that now. I finish the article. Don't touch that. It's very important. The Observer reported last November that McLaren's decision to live in England during his tenure wasn't well received. The Observer understands that the Jeff's board of directors will make a decision before the end of April. The Reggae Boyz set to return next month. Don't stop the nonsense, man. But going to make after that, I've in the newspaper. That's for me. Them nonsense about they won't make decision end of April, blah, blah, blah. Stop the nonsense. The president decides who will be coach and decides on Rudolph will be the coach. I mean, you bet money on it too. You bet $1,000 on it. Rudolph will be the coach. He went on to say, I certainly want to have Speid and Kohli to continue with our programs. See, we have the CONCACAF Nations League coming up later this year. And of course, I think next year is the Gold Cup. We have the Unity Cup in England at the end of May. That's our World Cup, by the way. We are Nigeria, none of it not going. That's going to be critical. So these are some of the things that we're looking forward to. But if Speid and Kohli are interested, then certainly they will have my choice to be coach and an assistant at least for 2 years. Speid expected to carry on his duties with defending champion Cavaliers, while Kohli is set to return to Iraq with Zakho SC. Kohli not going to know Iraq or no Qatar when there. He's not going to away. But now flag on them place nowadays. All right, so that was the article, right? That came from The Observer, which basically said, in my view, Speid going to be the coach. So this is Rudolph Speid and Miguel Kohli. That's the dynamic duo that will be responsible for Jamaica football going forward. That is set in stone. One thing with Jamaica, we're not keep secret. Them thing there. By the way, people, if you're in the chat and you've joined the program, I would truly appreciate. See me, I try to be nice nowadays, you know. I would truly appreciate if you would hit the like button. I did ask when you first come in to hit the like button. I know some of you are reluctant to do so, but don't be reluctant. Just press the button. Hit the like button so more people can watch the program. It's important. It helps the channel to grow. And this is a nice part of Kranky. Help the channel to grow and help the general audience. You know, I get enough grief nowadays. People say me I buy subscribers, but the number is growing. And those of you who bad mind, kind of Jamaica term, bad mind, I'm sorry for you, and they can't stop growth. And they can't complain and whine and come to face all no want. The people them like the stuff for me say, and like my channel. Rudolph used to tease me and say, boy, what we say no matter. And then Rudolph had changing mind because the number when numbers growing up, there is influence in numbers, people. So many numbers grow. But that's Rudolph. See me always, hey Rudolph, one thing Rudolph. See me always put up a nice picture of you, Rudolph. Don't put up no idiot picture in a Rudolph. Put up some nice picture. See? Yeah, and Kohli make it not look good. Could put nice background. Because my coach have to look good. My coach have to dress good. My national coach have to look good and dress good. So I saw you go. I saw the result. So let's touch upon a couple of things, people. World Cup failure, because that's important. We're going to make the case at some point for Rudolph. I'm going to make the case against Rudolph. Because that's how you should assess things. We shouldn't dance around the subject. We didn't qualify for the easiest World Cup in the history of mankind. Seriously. Speid was the architect of the hiring of McLaren. I was told he had some conflict with Hal Grimson. That's part of the reason why Hal Grimson decided to leave. Not necessarily Speid, but with the JFF. I shouldn't say Speid, with the JFF. Support and some other things. McLaren was hired by Rudolph Speid and worked with him during COVID, especially on the youth development program. And him hiring based on that. Steve Bruce, so here, Steve Bruce, I think he have a job. And if he said it wrong, Steve them. They rank Steve them higher. So Steve Bruce started the other job. Steve Bruce probably would be better because Steve Bruce more relevant. He managed later than McLaren at this running one club. But that's still old archaic dinosaur England coach. Them. Speid was part of this whole, the whole, the whole process of Rudolph. Your fingerprint there everywhere in Rudolph, I cook and battle what I call it, whatever I'm battle washer, I'm everything. I'm everything. I'm owner, I'm battle washer, I'm an architect, everything when it comes to the football. And the World Cup failure. Rudolph won it. Now, so it was really interesting to hear Rudolph making the rounds. Hey, Rudolph, me vex with you, Rudolph. Me not understand Rudolph. And you go on everybody's channel and you avoid my channel. Oh, what is that about, Rudolph? Tell the people them what's it. Rudolph, you know, chat. Text the people and tell them why that's the case. Why you decide you're not come on my channel. Why you go on everybody else's channel. Somebody text me and say go on them channel this week. Why you talk to everybody go on everybody's channel and you avoid my channel? You know, I'm a professional, Rudolph. Me not go disrespect you, wake up on my channel. But we're going to have a conversation. Right? We're going to have a conversation. And it would be an interesting conversation. Because most of the questions I'm asked already, Rudolph, so I can't ask you nothing why you wouldn't get asked already. Most of the questions them that's been posed already would have covered the gamut of questions to be asked in an interview. So if you come on the channel, man, come on the channel. Don't be afraid of me. Can you tell me, say, you always say, well, you're not afraid of nobody. And, you know, free to go on nowhere, no time, nowhere, because you run things. So come on the channel. Come on the channel. We blow up the internet. Me and you blow up the internet, Rudolph. We'll have a good conversation. Very good conversation. Me 100% sure it'll be a very good conversation. But let's keep going. I don't understand the lack of accountability. I don't hear the president a lot speaking, but I don't hear the president say, it's under my watch, so I own it. The blame is mine. I haven't heard him say that. And the JFF like to say nowadays they're trying to be transparent. But I remember when the under 15 won about a year and a half ago, when they had 20 lost on them attack and come up with the under 15. When they're not 17, got a World Cup and beat up them chest. When you're not 20, beat up the Caribbean the other day and beat up them chest. But me not hear nobody come out and it's almost like we have managed the bad news. Nobody not come out and say, boy, where's the post-mortem, Rudolph? Because Rudolph, when you used to come on the channel, Rudolph, you used to say this, you know, that there's a post-mortem done, an assessment done of any situation tournament we're in. And then after that, you know, it's assessed, coaches are assessed, people are assessed, and then decisions are made. So who's doing the post-mortem? Because you are the coach and you know what, but you can't review yourself, Rudolph. I mean, I understand that. Well, then again, who knows? You do everything, so it's not surprising. But take some comment before we jump into the case for Rudolph. No, maybe the case against Rudolph first, and then the case for Rudolph. Or should I do the case for Rudolph first, and then vice versa? No, maybe the case for Rudolph first, then the case against Rudolph. Nobody says, Speid say you pressure him too much. Me not pressure him. We calling, we calling our fans to boycott the football. People, let me say this. I don't want to be cruel. But if nobody boycott the football, it no matter. Because we don't answer with the football anyway. Seriously. We don't realize that. Don't be looking at the mirror, man. Looking at the mirror. Why did JFF can't go answer? This is not England where you have people that try to start Super League and fans say, hell no, and then back down, you know. Because American owners believe that they run things. And like US where you own the team. No, the JFF is like the US. Europe is different. The JFF, so we run football at Jamaica. We run under FIFA and we can't do nothing. No government can't do nothing. And go look on Brazil, what happened to Brazil. No local can't do nothing. We can't boycott, I don't want to boycott. JFF laugh at one. We have a Adidas sponsorship. We have other sponsorship. We can't do what we want to do. We don't support the football anyway. No, come a game. Only when we come a game and Curacao play and we almost got World Cup. No, I support no game. We don't barely come a game. So we're not talking about. We don't support the team. We don't support the team already. So now waste time. And if you live outside of Jamaica, say the US, we don't got much game anyway. Some of we go game, but enough of people don't got no game. And if you say ask about the football team can buy the jersey, other people don't buy it. That's why I think that's put red in the colors. You have the whole Bob Marley tonight and other colors tonight because A lot of people buy it. They don't need Jamaicans to buy it. So end of the day, the JFF don't need you. You may think you're important. You may think that boycott work. Lie, I tell. JFF don't figure it out already. And so them people don't support you, so we not support them. The women's team worse. Them go to a World Cup and still not got them game. So your influence as a fan is negated by the fact that you weren't truly supporting the team. And I mentioned that the other day, which is this. It's very embarrassing that the Jamaica football team is playing a do-or-die match to go to the World Cup, and the game wasn't on national TV, wasn't on TVJ. Championship on TVJ. Caribbean on TVJ. No football on TVJ. So why does the JFF give out, you know what, about 101 do I want to say? So don't know to about 101. Hey people, see the feisty thing, big head boy I say, but my patois improve. My patois always good. We just like twang. Whatever the thing. I like twang. My patois always good people. No matter with it. But my patois improve. I feisty thing that's not my youth. My patois always the same here. Problem is, I talk patois in my house. Because my niece and never come from Jamaica, them stop talk patois. So I have to force it out of them. And me alone probably talk patois. Even the one that come a year ago, not even talk patois. Then go to American school and follow people move around there. But anyway, we digress. So this notion and this concept that somebody called me today and said, boy, somebody said they want to boycott, me laugh at them. Boycott, you can't boycott, I don't want to boycott. Me not boycott nothing. Because waste of time. Me not do nothing in life for ineffective. So people say, well, okay, Kranky, but yeah, do your program do and that ineffective. Well, to some extent it is, but other extent it has a little bit of influence. And I'll probably touch on that. But let's go with the case for, let me put up some more comments and then we take it from there. Cartizzle says, according to, well, he's talking to somebody in the chat, but according to Speid in Sport Desk interview, the football is not getting support from the fans anyway, so I don't think boycott would. Yes, I agree with that. That's what I just said. What is it, Kranky? What are your thoughts on the new format with FIFA with 6 teams from CONCACAF going to World Cup 2030? I think FIFA has realized, well, I don't know what started that or what influenced that, but FIFA is trying to bring more people into the football and reach more countries. It generates more revenues because it's all about revenues. But I do think the teams that constitute FIFA have been poor, especially the Caribbean in CONCACAF, in terms of how they relate to CONCACAF, in terms of the influence that they hold. It's actually embarrassing. And that's why I would love somebody like Speid to be involved in CONCACAF and be involved in FIFA, given how ambitious he is. And what does that mean? So 3/4 of the Caribbean countries make up CONCACAF. There's 30-something countries in CONCACAF, in the Caribbean, but at CONCACAF who are 40-something. And yet they don't have no influence. They never be president, they not vice president, they run nothing. I mean, the president sit down beside Infantino Folio. They don't run nothing. They don't have no influence. And the same way you see FIFA making changes, and I don't want to use the word watering down the requirement or the eligibility to be part of the World Cup. I think the Caribbean need to figure out a way to allow more of their teams to be part of this competition in this region, and also to get some of their people in the seat to run the organization. Now, they may go mess it up as they normally do, but they have to be part of that whole equation. You can afford to have influence and not use the influence. It's like you just carry water, basically. FIFA is the same way. Europe dominates FIFA. They have most of the money, but if it's a one vote for each country situation, then why is Europe always the one that dominate everything? They have more team than can put in the work. They put almost every team in the World Cup. They run the organization. That FIFA organization should be like the World Bank or those places based on a rotating basis. Go from continent to continent. Europe should not dominate it. We have Blatter and we have Infantino and them like president for life. It's one of the most corrupt people from Gaza. I'm not saying Infantino is corrupt. Well, I'm not Blatter, but I'm just saying the organization, FIFA, has been a very corrupt organization. And in my view, I still think it still is, in a lot of respects. So you think all them countries in Africa and them countries in Asia would say, you know what? Let's rotate the presidency. And what Infantino has done brilliantly is negate that uprising because he's spreading the pie amongst all of these. The under-17 World Cup, anybody can qualify now. And I'm not trying, not Jamaica, anybody will qualify. Jamaica, one of those players, one round, I'm just beat one Canada team and then reach a World Cup. Because the other team, they're not good. Under 20 is a little bit more difficult. But it's been watered down. And the under 17, I know every year. We should make it last year, we'll make it this year. So in essence, FIFA and Europe has realized that they need to spread the wealth a little bit more. So 6 teams in the World Cup, for them makes sense. Okay, every continent get more teams. Every continent. And it's more money. And more money to be spread around for all the teams. Now let's talk about the case for Rudolph Speid. If we look at just the more recent performance against New Caledonia and Congo, the team did look organized. I don't think he did the best job of bringing the players together initially, but eventually they got there. I thought he should have done much more when he got appointed on December 15th. He didn't, but they got there eventually. Speid have a good track record with Cavalier and a good track record in the Caribbean, even though his team hasn't scored a goal outside the Caribbean. He understand. I want to say understand Jamaican players, but I'm not. I don't think Speid is the more warmest, affable, like an Ancelotti type person. I view him more of a dictatorial, get things done person. Now, Speid tell us that the camp had enough vibes. McLaren said them had enough vibes. So I don't know if you take that. And vibes never get us nowhere. But I think probably the most important rationale for hiring Speid, or two of the most important rationale. One is, who else in Jamaica could you hire if you go in local? Now, we said a Jamaican coach, but I put the word a local Jamaican coach. Because there are people of Jamaican descent, Jamaica heritage, who are out there in the marketplace, who could be considered. But we're not going that route. We're going local. Born a yard, live a yard. That way I go. I would think that given that Speid is local, and the exchange rate is 150 something, that Speid will take less money than the park coach too. But if you hire Speid and Coley, Coley now make no chump change in the Middle East. Because Middle East have enough money to spend, enough oil money. So I wonder what Coley compensation is. And I wonder what the combination of Coley and Speid compensation is compared to the coaches, them from overseas and their assistants. Give me 1 second, people. I am wondering if the compensation is materially different. Now, we know Whitmore was getting paid chump change. And that's how Whitmore felt. Whitmore coached the team about 5-6 years. 2 different stints. About 7, 2 different stints. And Whitmore make well. I forgot what the number I hear Whitmore, but that chump, monkey money. Speid don't take no monkey money. There's no way Speid don't take monkey money. None. To me, monkey money is $100,000 a year. 100,000 US are monkey money. He not take the monkey money. I don't think Jamaica is in a position to have a top European coach, because that's very expensive. Between them and their assistant and what their requirements are. Plus, the JFF is not known for providing the best support. And I think Speid have nothing problem with the food, because arguments I like the food and the fish. Because he have better fish where he come from. And Speid used to Jamaica food and fish and people them and the bad mind thing. So Speid will navigate the environment. So from that context, and Speid is supposedly being labeled as the best football man in Jamaica. And the most qualified coach. I dispute the most qualified coach. I think Whitmore is the most qualified coach in Jamaica. It's not Speid. Speid have no international experience to talk of, to be doing that way. Whitmore has coached the team for 5 years. He played for Jamaica. He coached the team for 5 or 7 years. In Jamaica got final and semi-final. Rudolph has never beaten a team outside Jamaica, outside the Caribbean, that I know of, as the coach for Cavalier, except for New Caledonia in the World Cup playoff, right? Which is more recent. Whitmore has beaten some of the top teams in this region, more than one. So I don't know how we could say, and he has a lot of experience, and experience matters in the world of work. Experience matter. Now, yes, Speid goes coaching school, Whitmore goes coaching school. So, but having said that, if Whitmore is not being considered for the job, and people are very positive about Coley and Speid, what they did with the World Cup. And I did text Speid after the World Cup and said, boy, can I proud of the people then because the expectations were low. We think we'll get about 4 or 5. And if it wasn't for a handball, we probably had our World Cup now. And even Wissa probably hand the ball too. So if Wissa handball was given and the other handball was not given, we probably had our World Cup now. So we can't beat him for that. And Speid also know the landscape of the JFF. But here's my question for Speid. Rudolph, are you going to be the... You know what? Let me make the case against me. I'm not ask the question yet. I'll do something else. There's a case for Rudolph to be in. So the case for him is he's the supposedly most recognized coach locally. He knows to navigate the local environment. He's supposed to know the players that he won't pick in his team. He got them local. He did well against in the World Cup playoff. He was not a place. Seemed like the players were good. The camp was good. He has a very good assistant in Coley. Where's Marion Garden? You know him there. The president and the board supports him. And they believe in his competence. Even though we feel for qualify for the World Cup. But seem to be negate that. So that's the case for Rudolph Speid. Right? Anything me I miss, people? Nothing me I miss none. That's the case for him. Because you make 2 cases on people. In anything in life, there are 2 sides to it. Opposite. Good and evil. Right? Bad and good. Whatever you want to call it. Interesting and dull. There are 2 sides to it. So let's talk about the case against Rudolph Speid. This is going to be an interesting one. Me a flight from top of my head. Me not even write on none. One, he was the architect of the failure to qualify for the World Cup. He was the person who sourced the candidate. He recommended him for the role. He had multiple chances to fire him. He was their technical advisor. He wasn't impressed with him, obviously. Because the president said the man failed and was terrible, mismanaged. So he mustn't. Speid must say the man mismanaged very well. And yet he still kept him on. So we can go over the cliff. We put on the edge of the cliff and he decided to go over the cliff. So that was his doing. He doesn't have the experience to be a national coach. He doesn't. People tell him I have 3 wins and 1. No, he have no loss in 90 minutes, which is true. He has no losses in 90 minutes. And in fact, he has no losses because, and this is my saying, it was a handball. It's a fake win that a Congo get. So Speid is unbeaten as a coach for the national team. Unbeaten. But he only has 4 game experience in the national team. Very limited experience in the international arena. Even though he has coached outside of Jamaica with Cavalier getting beaten by Cincinnati, getting beaten by Inter Miami. Right? He's won the Caribbean thing twice. And I'm saying, but he won the Caribbean thing twice, which is probably the first Jamaican team to do it consecutively. And he has probably bring the biggest crowd to Jamaica for a club team ever. When Inter Miami come to Jamaica. So them things go up in your resume in my youth. He bring Messi to Jamaica. Like when Pele coming to Jamaica in 70s, Messi coming to the 2025, whatever it was. In terms of, again, Speid, lack of accountability, I hear Rudolph making the round. And Rudolph seemed to be making the case against him. When people ask Rudolph who's the most culpable, he may say, well, we all were involved in this. Him not take the blame. Because he might manage the fact that he will become the coach, him not take the blame. Another point is the conflict issue, which I realized a lot of people in Jamaica don't understand and doesn't make sense to them, including people like Maverick actually, have no idea what conflict is, how conflict work, why conflicts are important to manage. So let me give you an example, people, with the conflict. So if Rudolph is going to coach the national team, right? Just think about this. Rudolph has supposedly resigned as the chair of the technical committee, and he's still on the board of directors, which I find interesting. So wait, Rudolph, you'll be on the board of directors and be the coach? I have never heard that in the history of football now, but we're not done yet. People think about this. I mean, you Rudolph resigned from the board now. Where have you seen a coach being on the board of directors for a national football program ever? Not only that, by the way. So Rudolph will still be the owner of Cavaliers. Now, me Maverick saying bringing somebody named Fuzzy, we take over the coaching roles. But think about it this way. He's still the owner. So let's think about the conflict that resides, right? So as the national head of the national program, Rudolph will then have the responsibility to pick the best players, locally, internationally, for the Reggae Boyz. Now here's where the conflict will come in. If Rudolph pick any player from Cavalry's national team, people are saying bias. Right? Regardless of the player's ability, people are saying bias. I'm saying bias, I hear that thing, but the coach and pick it. See them tell you, say, why him not do that, right? Especially toxic boss. And that player may be deserving of being part of the national program. So that player will be hurt if Rudolph don't pick him, and be hurt if Rudolph pick him. And that player will have to bear the burden of being viewed in a negative light, regardless. Unless the player have quality like a Whisper or a Bailey who get, if them somewhere upon the borderline, then I get the benefit of the doubt. Especially if they bring them in. Suppose you have a Cavalier forward who can play well good. Whisper level, or they can be better than the Whisper. And you bring in him and I bring in Whisper. All hell break loose. In my bias. He will tell you in my bias. So that conflict don't only go one way now. It's not only going to say Rudolph benefit himself, because he own Cavaliers, and then my coach national program. It also may hurt that player in terms of perception and actuality. Now, we all know that being an international player has a lot of value and cachet to it. It does. It gives you exposure. It gets you sold. It goes in your resume. It's a big deal. Don't get it twisted. That's why toxic boss why I'm playing the national team. So a toxic boss why I run Jamaica football. Everybody know this. So forget about it. And even if Rudolph is what people in Jamaica are talking about, well, I haven't seen him done anything that shows he's conflicted. And you sit there thinking, do you understand how conflict works? Now, if Jamaica had a very robust, JFF, robust conflicts management program, whereby they have the conflicts register, which them have, we just write down things tonight. They have scenario analysis, where each conflict they identify has an owner who's independent of that person and can make decision and can be influenced by that person. They have mitigants in place to manage the conflict. And they have process like you recuse yourself from certain things and or you can't make certain things. Even then, you still be toxic, but at least you know it's been effectively managed and them can espouse it and bring it out to the public and tell the public about it. They don't have that. They have something that's right on the name of the conflict or whatever it is and then keep on ticking. So this thing will never go away. And a lot of people in traditional media have no idea. Oh, well, I don't see no conflict. I don't see where to do something because they don't understand how conflicts work. They don't understand the perception about conflict. It's not the actuality sometimes. It's the perception. It's what you can do with it. You don't have to do anything with it sometimes. It's what you can do with it. And how do you mitigate it? Meaning you reduce it or eliminate it. They don't know. They don't understand how it works. Including people like Maverick, by the way. They may beat up them chest until they know everything about everything. But they're not going to the minutiae of these things and understand how they actually work and the issues with it and when people are called out. And some people believe that some players get into the national team because they have certain relationship and some don't if they're from certain clubs. And that will only worsen when the person becomes national coach and still own Cavalier or still coach Cavalier. It ain't gonna go nowhere. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna become unbearable. Remember me saying this, people, it's gonna become unbearable when people become coach. I'm telling you this right now. It will not be okay. It's gonna cause a lot of friction and a lot of problem. And anybody don't see that and realize that, they don't make no sense. They don't understand. They don't understand how it works. So, like in terms of the case against Speid, the poor management of the qualification process, the experience gap, the conflict of interest, and the accountability. Those can be debated. Those are factual. And what you're telling the country is, if you fail and fail well, never fail well. If you fail and get a second chance and fail again, you can get promoted. That's what we're saying. Now, I'm sure the JFL will say, the overriding reason is this. We're trying to move in a different direction. We're trying to bring up our local program and we don't have the money to spend. I'm not truly buy that. I'm not truly buy that. Now, let's address something which is going to become very important. Very important. We'll take some comment first. Then we go to it. Let me see what people might say. Zebev said, I'm for Coley, but then he would be competing with Speid and Speid don't play that. Well, Coley has a higher license than Speid, you know. That's a fact. Diablo said, nah, go any local match that's what the team do. Just watching pirate streams until Speed Ricketts gone. You wait a long time, are you? Because Speed may never go anywhere. Speed may live forever. You done there. Carter says, yeah, man, me see how this team gonna get gel. A lot of young, good prospects like Free, Lati, and Brooks. Yes, the players are here, they're not going away. Well, you know what, people? Here's a question. We'll go to the foreign and the local thing. We'll get to that. That's very important. Carter says, in the fact that Speedy picked his boys, even though one of them was piss poor in 2 games, and then try to justify the reason with some nonsensical statement, just how good that is fitted to be. Yeah, that happens. So don't worry, Kranky, we have 2 teams to the World Cup. England and the United States of America. Let's see. Yeah, and then some Jamaican have Brazil too. I was at Brazil for years, especially the old timers them. Vacations say Kranky, if you have a failing or a growing business and want to make it more efficient, you generally hire a consultant with superior knowledge and expertise to assess and report. That is true, actually. That is true, actually. Them cost enough money, though. Cartel says, exact vacation. The JFF move like them, know everything, and show outside of that would actually improve. The JFF does think they know everything. By the way, I must say some people, I'm not going to like this. If you're not Jamaican, I'm not going to like this. In fact, I know you hate this, and I say, see, you be telling them, so them stay. Jamaica has more talent outside Jamaica than in Jamaica. And people say, Crank, how you draw that conclusion? I'll repeat it again. Jamaica has more talent outside Jamaica than in Jamaica. It reminds me of the footballers. The best Jamaicans, them go overseas in a football and a track and field, Them stay home in a track and field nowadays because we have good coach at Jamaica. But for the most part, apart from, say, a sport like track and field, and even track and field, enough of them overseas, Jamaica have more quality overseas than having Jamaica locally. It's a fact. And how I draw the conclusion? Because everybody like Maverick and money, I say, if not Speedy, then who? So that means you have no local people you believe have the qualification to be coach. None. Well, I see people like Shavar Thomas on TV, on Fox are explaining things and sound eloquent and articulate. Me people like Andre Blake who they have filled for about 100 years. Me listen to them and people saying speaky spokey them son and like they know them I talk about. To me, Jamaica has much more talent outside the country, and there's a reason for that actually. Because people who have ambition and people who, I say people in Jamaica have ambition, but a lot of people who have ambition and want to improve themselves, they will go in a very uncomfortable environment to do that. Generate them resources and go back to Jamaica to live, or them stay with them there. So if you guys believe that locally we have more talent, that's not true. More talent overseas. And most of them people who are that ambitious will leave the shores because people always chase money now. And chase improvement in life and chase a way to improve them family and family life. So if that's the case, then Jamaica should be looking overseas if they want a Jamaican coach, because a Jamaican coach they want a local Jamaican coach. There's a difference between a Jamaican coach and a Jamaican coach who is born and based locally. Don't conflate the two. Don't confuse the two. And the two are not the same. Now let's get to, let me see if anything else here before I jump into my next thing. If you run like a corporation, couple will get fired, and more than a couple, the whole board will get fired. Because it says Speed hired Mac. Speed hired Speed to assist Mac. Speed hired Speed after Mac. And then Speed hired Speed to be coach. I love that actually. Actually, no, Speed hired Hargrimson. Hargrimson and Speed followed. Speed hired Mac. Speed hired Speed. And Speed hired Speed again. All right, boy. Speed, they have influence. So Carter says, as a Jamaican, according to the island, and been living abroad for almost a decade, I can attest to the statement. When we travel, we get better training in whatever we are doing. Yeah. I mean, there's more talent overseas, and I think Jamaica don't realize that. The Prime Minister has, because the Prime Minister is asking diaspora persons to return home. The Prime Minister realizes it, but a lot of Jamaicans who are on the island don't realize it. So Kranky, the Arsenal coach, is not permanent. No, he's not permanent. He's making the club money. Don't conflate winning titles and say money per se, because if you finish second or third, you'll make enough money. Arsenal revenue generated what? About 800 million pounds. Arsenal is printing money in today's environment because they finished in the top 4 the last 4 years or so, or 5 years. Before, when they were under Wenger, and after Wenger, with the the coach from Villa, they weren't doing well after that. But since Arteta had been embedded now for about 6 years, going to his 7th, they've been doing well, not winning titles, but doing really well and print money. And if you're owner, you want to print money, so. So Eagle says, Kranky, don't you believe it's time for people to start asking questions about the role of the technical director of Jamaica Football? TD is responsible for direction of the country's football. So yeah, so they have a new technical director in Andrew Peart. And I asked somebody to get me an interview with Andrew, and the person ignored me. So I ask you again, person. I want an interview with Andrew Peart. Please make it happen. I would love to talk to Andrew. This is not about, I've heard Andrew in different forums. He sounds really intelligent. He's really informed. He sounds like somebody who's young and ambitious and want to do the right thing. I was impressed with him talking about developing players, developing them mentally and technically. So I would love to have a conversation with him. I think it'd be a good conversation. Andrew Peart, I don't think you watch the program, but there are other people who watch the program who know. They're going to tell Andrew. I don't know what to get in touch with Andrew. Somebody give me a number, me call him, and ask him if he want to come on the program. Adam can't say no. Even though I know there's a moratorium or a ban on me, the JFF and JFF personnel. They supposedly are like a bounty upon me in terms of don't be able to come on a Kranky program. But Andrew, I promise to be on my best behavior if you come on my program. In fact, I'm best behavior when it comes to interviewing people, actually. Because this is not about me, it's about the person and what they bring to the table in terms of the conversation. Oh, yeah, I don't know. No, the coach was here. Arsenal was very gracious to allow the coach to come and coach while he still have a role at Arsenal. So now he's still at Arsenal. The question is, look, for that coach, it's also good for it to be on his resume that he was part of an international program. People don't understand it now. Being anything international now is a good thing. Right? If you're international, you're a local coach, you're assistant coach, you're a local under 18, and you work with the Reggae Boyz at an international level, trying to get worker qualification, it's a big thing on your resume. So I'm sure Darwin's will love it. Yes, Speid did. Yes. No, I didn't record the New Caledonia match. I recorded the I didn't record the New Caledonia match. I was trying to find it actually. I thought it would be on demand. I recorded the one for DR Congo actually. I haven't looked back at it, you know. I was glancing at some things, but I don't think he ran from the cross. I thought he had a cross where he tried to shoot it and it bounced or something. Anyway, let's go to local versus foreign. This is important. So I was on a conversation with somebody today. It's more like text, not even verbal. And I was saying that there may be instances where conflict manifests itself and that players may give him roles or get opportunities because of that conflict. And he was pushing back on me really hard. Then he said I was biased. And he says, all I want is foreign players. Why do people say that about me, actually? You know what? I find that really interesting. And I'm tired of protesting that because those of you who follow my program realize if you fear that I am an egalitarian critic of players from if they diaspora players or they're local players. I give flowers to them both and I criticize them both. So I said to the person that, because I was mentioning a couple of players being in the national team and that those players didn't warrant their place. And they were pushing back on me and I said, well, when I criticize John Russell or Holgate or anybody, nobody complains. Nobody complains. Except Chris Smith. Chris Smith, that was a complaint with him, I say. But if I criticize any locally born player, if I criticize King for 4 of 19 on long passes, or Bailey for having the worst game in the history of Jamaica football. And you know what, funny, I digress to that a little bit. And it's not to beat Bailey. I heard Maverick in multiple shows saying things about Bailey, and then when him get called out, him change his mind, but he never admit that he was wrong. At first, he said Bailey played one of his best games for Jamaica. And I sent him the Bailey stats. The worst stats I've ever seen in football, in the history of me I watch football. Me not tell no lie. Worst me ever see. They may be the worst stats, but the worst I ever seen. Where Bailey lost position. And I said to him, Bailey was Congo's best player. Bailey was Congo's best player. He lost possession 30 times, 1 of 6 on dribbles, 1 of 7 on crosses, 4 of 16 on There was one. And he now changed his tune from saying Bailey played well to Bailey played with a lot of effort. And he played hard. As if that we need outcome, we need effectiveness, we need efficiency. Yeah, playing hard in a football game is supposed to be innate. Otherwise, we're on the football FIFA. So he changed his mind from saying Bailey played well to Bailey run hard. And he said Rudolph Speid said the same thing. Rudolph Speid is a coach. What must say? Rudolph will say, you know what? Bailey was horrible. And then Alan will beat him, say, coach, I criticize the player and I idiot thing that. Huh? Why the coach supposed to say? Of course, the coach is going to say Bailey played hard. He did play hard. He did run hard. He may play hard or play and run foolish, but he played hard. But Rudolph supposed to say, Bailey never play good, and I'm going to beat him and say, boy, I see it. You not take responsibility. He must say, Bailey, in keeping him on the field. My only question to Rudolph is, which also goes against Rudolph, some of the changes you made in that game, I always respect your game management, but may I tell you, Rudolph, some of them don't make no sense, you know. I sent the person Campbell's stats. People know Campbell was 2 of 3 on dribble attempts against Wan-Bissaka. 1 of 3 on crosses. You know, get that. Wan-Bissaka never dominated him. Bailey was 1 of 6 on dribbles. 1 of 7 on crosses. Now, granted, some of them crosses that corner. But the fact of the matter is, which may not count as much, the fact of the matter is, if you compare the two players who are playing opposite wings, they were night and day. There's no way in God's hell Bailey should have finished that game. Or even finished the first half. But he was allowed to. So where's Rudolph Speid's assistant them? Donaldson and Coley and all them. Why don't say coach? You know, see Bailey stats are because was Speid pressured mentally, not physically, mentally, meaning say, you know what, I have to keep Bailey on the field because he may be a secret weapon for Congo. So I may try to lose the work because the only way that keep him on. Or he might think about back home, what the perception is going to be, because I'm in conflict with toxic boss and I don't want nobody criticize him for being conflicted. That's why I take him off. Because Bailey shouldn't be on the field. It's a joke. Man played the worst game in Jamaica football history and people talk about him play hard. Anyway, local versus foreign. Now, here's a question, $1 million question. Rudolph. Hey, Rudolph. Yeah. There's a perception in Jamaica in the traditional media and people like your colleague at work, Simpson, Ry Simpson, that we have to move away from using, I'm going to call them foreign ballers, diaspora ballers, heritage players, as you say nowadays, a phrase coined by the great Steve McLaren. Now, are you going to go with mainly local players in your team? Or are you going to go with the best team for the country? Or are you going to be able to bring in new players? Are you going to set up a recruiting structure, you and Andrew Peart? How you recruit players who fit what you're trying to accomplish? Or are we going to start with status quo where you're on a reactive and just at the last minute run to get players in? Are you going to set up some protocol with Pika where there's a seamless process for players who have aspiration to play for Jamaica? You have scouted them. They have the requisite tools and technical ability to play and commitment to play. I'm using the word commitment, I don't like use it. And you bring them in and allow them to come and play. They don't have to go through a 2-year process like Brooks or all of them. If you're going to get them thing. Some of them will still go through it. Max Aaron's, all of them. Take a favor. Is that going to work? Is that going to work? I'm just curious. How is that going to work? Because part of Jamaica's problem has been the recruiting. You know, it's been awful. Awful recruiting. The JFF don't have a good recruiting program. They want to come in England and now do nothing. My understanding. DJ Gig says, Kranky, I'm surprised that the person said that you want overseas players on the team, which I thought you were as king PR before the Congo game. People, I'm nobody's PR people. I'm nobody's problem PR. I'm nobody's PR. I'm nobody's PR. But the local versus diaspora will not go away now. And here's what's funny about this. I'll mention a couple of things about that. One, someone sent me something today that said there's a reverse diaspora thing in some places in Europe. So here's what's happening. Because it's all about outcome to people. Diaspora doesn't work for Jamaica because it's been poorly managed. Poorly managed. Has nothing to do with the players or whatever. It's poorly managed process. It's atrocious. In fact, it's not managed. It's a haphazard thing that doesn't work. If you let them put on, do nothing get done. The Dutch national team, somebody sent me something today, had about 8 players from Suriname, little old Suriname, heritage for the national team. Right? England have quite a few. Morgan Rogers, bunch of them, Jamaican heritage. Right? Congo, 150 million people, almost twice the size of England. They have half of their team, half of their squad, not team, half the squad. And Congo, them come from the rest of Europe, Belgium, France, different places. Curacao, when we played them in their squad, had 1 locally born player in their squad. All them players, second division, other places, Holland. If you want the France team, a foreign team, if you don't want to call it that way there. Our heritage people from Africa come from France. So here's what I was listening to today. Somebody sent me something where somebody was talking about Italy. And the complaint in Italy is that all these other European countries, France, Belgium, England, all of them, even though you look within Spain, have immigrants or people with immigrant heritage as part of their program. They develop them in the academy, but Italy doesn't do so. So Italy is not going anywhere in football. They only have probably Keane who play up front for them. Most of their players are of Italian descent, local born Italian. They make 3 World Cup in a row. And the question is being asked, what is Italy doing in the space? Because the other countries are doing. Think about Yamal. Yamal come from Spain. Family come from not Spain, right? Think about England. Think about Belgium. Think about all those countries. Now I'm not call your people. Sorry, I'm going to miss a little first. Think about all those countries, people. Think about all those countries and the fact that a lot of immigrants make up their teams, right? Even Morocco, half their team come from outside Morocco. So when we are trying to knock diaspora and fool people like Roy Simpson talk about diaspora no work, look in the mirror. I only make it no work. Because I don't know what I do. And the fact that you guys still think that you're the epitome, or some people say the epitome of excellence and what good looks like, no, they're not. Not part of the problem. But all I do, I get myself and get defensive when people criticize, because they call out in public domain, which you need to be called out on. If you don't be called out in public, don't be the public space. Don't take a public role. Or otherwise, you subject yourself to criticism. So many countries are leveraging players of heritage or from different locales that reside in their environment, or they're born and live overseas, and they've built recruiting pipeline to bring them at a junior age and matriculate them up to their senior team. We don't do that. We say we have quota system for the junior level. Only 7 can play, and some of them only 2 get in. And the junior team keep failing apart from the under 17 when they beat them chest pan now. And I remember all the years before 2026, when the under 17 don't make it World Cup only 1 year before and they're down to. And a lot of those kids who want to come in the national team and compete for Jamaica at a junior age can't come in because they're banned. Because we have a quota system. And then we want to beat our chest and say some nonsense about some things. Right? Or them only want to come when them get too old. But we tell them they can't come when them young. Look on Tyrese Hall. Tyrese Hall tried to come for the under 20 team. Can't come in. Tyrese Hall want to come for the senior team. McLaren wouldn't bring him in. At least Rudolph bring him in. So kudos to Rudolph. And what I'm sensing from Rudolph is, which part of the case for Rudolph is, which I probably should make that case, Rudolph seemed to be agnostic to where the player was born. Or who the player, where they reside. Rudolph seemed to just have one focus in mind. I want to win. Let me say that again. I want to win. So therefore, it's a merit-based process. He may put on the periphery, he may just add some couple of local players, make people feel good. But in substance, his team is going to be who the best players are. And he set up this criteria. Rudolph, by the way, Rudolph, the policy criteria thing now work. Revisit it. Trust me, revisit it. Don't be stubborn and don't change it. Trust me, change it. It needs to change. So it might not make no sense. You can't have 130 players league in a rural compared to top 20 contract. People with top contract in top 20 league. You can't do that, Rudolph. The whole thing about you have farmer Reggae Boyz, so shouldn't be part of it. Then make nothing, Rudolph. Get rid of anything there. Come, just use the condition. Think about the criteria. The criteria now work. Maybe part of the criteria is you have to have, you want to call it condition. What do you want to call it? You have to be on good behavior, right? You have to have good behavior. But you can't put up something when it makes no sense to nobody. Is that good try? Yeah, I do. And I understand the goal of trying to set some standards, but the standard needs to stand up to scrutiny. The standard needs to make sense, and the standard, they need work. I admire the direction of travel, but it needs to change. It makes no sense. So the concept, the idea of Rudolph becoming coach. Me have been saying kind of hard to digest, but as I said before, I love Jamaica football. Anybody I coach a team, any team I do, I support the team. I go say I want Jamaica lose. That will never happen. Me none of that people. Do I think Rudolph should get the job? Rudolph feel, they can't really feel it. And if Rudolph was in my seat, Rudolph would say the same thing. That's what's interesting about these people. If Rudolph was in this seat, he would say the same thing. Rudolph is a very smart person. He would say, Kranky, all you feel, you hire the coach, you advise the coach, you feel as the coach. Don't forget the job as a coach. He would say the same thing. I understand the foreign coach is more expensive. I understand the foreign, but here's another thing to Rudolph and the Jamaica Football Federation. And someone on local traditional media. Because I say, the overseas thing don't work. So I go fully local. Me supportive of this. Experiment with just local players for a while. But then be it overseas or be it locally, just experiment with local players for a while. In 2026. Unlike the Surinams of the world and the Moroccans of the world, all them country where do them nonsense. Them for go away. Jamaica know best, we don't know best. Since you don't want an overseas based player in your team, Rice Simpson, pressure the JFF just use locally based players, especially the one in my JPL. Go with local players to represent the country and tell the overseas born players who have the nationality say, my youth, we'll take a break from now. Because now work for me. I will be supportive of that. I'm dead serious about it. I'm supportive. I just want to see how it works out. Or what I can also do is this. Since I'm going to the cup, we just pick two teams, pick a locally based team to play against the diaspora players. And we'll put up some money. If you win now. Fans, fans, don't want to do that. We want to see a locally based team, a locally born team, play a diaspora team. We have enough players on both sides of the aisle to do that. We not take all much. No? Definitely. Bless up New Wave. Where I said thanks for the New Wave. Say good night, Kranky. Keep the fire burning. I hear you. New Wave, thanks for the super chat. New Wave, appreciate it. You're trying to make the program pay for itself. Right now it's in the water. It's underwater. It's not pay for itself, it's underwater. But thanks for the super chat, New Wave. Appreciate it, sir. No, but we should have the locally born players play against the diaspora in a series, not two or three game series. We not take our money. We can run some GoFund and come with the prize money and do it for a charitable reason. But I love to see that, people. I love to see that. We come up with some new hey Rudolph, or some way to make some money in Rudolph. Because no people in the chat agree with that. We contribute money to it. Locally born versus overseas born players. Kranky, take the football for a joke. What do you mean? But it's what do you mean? Hey, Bam. None of no Jamaica, Bam. I don't say no for them. I should change that. Enough people in Jamaica say are locally born. And locally born doesn't mean just locally based players, you know. King is locally born. Damian Lowe is locally born. The goalkeeper is locally born. All of them. We could do that. That should be done, Rudolph. Hey, Rudolph. Yeah, coach. Make it happen, Rudolph. I love to see that game there. Since all the people in African money say we need to have a balance. Gotta have balance. No, so we just want to see, it's not a merit-based thing. We just gotta pick the best overseas team and the best locally born player and say them work. I won't work up that. We know we have Unity Cup in something there, but I mean, not a Unity Cup thing. I don't want to watch a Unity Cup during World Cup when World Cup are going. I'm not interested. I watch it, but I'm not really that interested because we feel. But then again, we have Nigeria there. We have Trinidad, a peer field team. Who else was there? We have Nigeria. We have Trinidad. We have Jamaican. There was another team. Forget how now. Or was it a 3-match thing? Can't remember. No, it was a 3-match thing. So we play Trinidad and play Nigeria. Yeah. With the diaspora coach, we can get man. We can get one. Enough Jamaican. We can get Paul Hall. We can get somebody with diaspora coach. That's not hard with the man. John Barnes, Paul Hall, somebody. Maybe Rhyme Sterling. I don't know team to play for. Somebody who have some name. Make it nice. Rudolph, and make it happen, man. See, all them ideas come from YouTube, you know. Bam said, my boss, you know that one of the content creators who post goal stats and performance That's where they're born. Maybe you know that. I am one of the content creators. Yeah, Bam. But me not talk about you, Bam. I just say, no people at Jamaica. Me here on a regular traditional media, or me here Roy Simpson. I mean, enough people in Jamaica football who are known, say the same thing. I'm tired of the foreign thing, tired of the diaspora thing. It no work, it fail. Try something else. So me want locally born players to play against another people, some other people who is not locally born. I mean, that's just fair. Well, no, I mean, if you say you don't want to use diaspora players, we suggest they are the problems, right? If we keep saying, here's what we don't understand people. We keep saying the diaspora thing doesn't work. Nobody now force it upon you. You make a decision, as Rudolph always does, and say no. Which is a lot, actually. Rudolph said, if you play EPL, you're upon him team, now talk about it. So he's saying the level you play at is important. Now, if you tell me that JPL is ranked 130 in the world and 10th in CONCACAF, then how much JPL player can get in your team, also? Bless up Gunners. How much JPL player can get in your team? If you tell me that JPL is ranked 10th in CONCACAF and 100 and something in the world, 120 or 30, whatever it is, then how many JPL players can get in your national team? When some of them they play PPL, they might play top 6, they might play top 20. If you play MLS, if you play championship, if you play EPL, even if you play League 1 or League 2, you're not ranked 130 in the world. So I don't understand the comparison. We should play locally born against foreign born, so no one call them that, or heritage players, and let's see what the outcome would be. I would love to somebody finish sponsored again, man. And here's another thing to people. I want to say this, which is this. I would love to see the day where the locally born players can compete on a global basis. And that's why I want to talk to Andrew Pierce. By the way, people, two things. If you have not subscribed to the channel and you like the content, please do so. And if you have not hit the like button tonight, if you don't like the content, please hit the like button, because I'm trying to get as many people to watch these programs as possible. I'm trying to build the Kranky Nation. And if you have not been a member, I think I haven't pushed that. You sign up for a member. It's cheap, you know. Costs you about $3, probably one coffee thing a month. So become a member, man. Support the channel. Right now, I'm underwater. I'm trying to make the channel pay for itself. Someone says, India, Zimbabwe, Jamaica, Nigeria for the Unity Cup. Interesting. So no Trinidad. That's interesting. So they're going, I don't know how Zimbabwe got in, but India will have enough people in the UK. Jamaica have enough people. Nigeria have enough people. And we get another country from Zimbabwe. Not fight against Zimbabwe, but I really see Zimbabwe night. So if you go another country which have enough people in the UK who are not in the World Cup, most of the African countries are prominent, did they? And not a bad lineup. I think not about the Zimbabwe team. Don't know about the Zimbabwe team. So we won't have any timeline to play local versus foreign. And we can't arrange a game. It would work, people. It would work. Trust me, it would work. I would love to see that. So we have a guest tonight, but my guest not turn up. Guest not turn up at all. My guest stand me up. But at the end of the day, we can change the direction of travel. Rudolph, with the coach of the national team, I support competence. That's why I struggle with this. Some of the decisions that we made, right? I support competence. I am not somebody who gonna support something that failed. At the same time, I love my Jamaican football, and the way things I go, I'm not going to go see World Cup again before me leave the earth. Yeah, the way things I go. But I would say this though: if Rudolph and Cole going to be the coach, it can't be for 2 years, Mr. President. It has to be at least until the next World Cup, right? It has to be until the next World Cup. Can't when I am thinking about on 2-year thing. Then wait, and first of all, Rudolph always tell me this in a public forum. Say them have a list of people. I say, what's the succession planning, Rudolph? And you know, have contingency planning. Yeah, we have this, and then all of a sudden, so this was a contingency plan. Then maybe me wrong. Maybe we don't have it. We don't have it set up to rotted. Where would the venue be? The game I play at National Stadium. Man. What you talk about where the venue be? National Stadium. So we say the people don't really support the football. National Stadium at Jamaica never play. They never play. National Stadium never play. Right, nice stadium there. before them start the construction. Can bring the players them over, get some sponsors for the event, and run the game. So we have 2-game series. If you have enough time. Kind of hard still because you're Unity Cup, you don't have much time, and then people go back to pre-season. Very difficult, but no, you can't. You know what? You can play it in England. If you got England, you might as well play it over there. Just bring in some local players over there who may not be part of the team and run the game. Isn't the construction starting? Is it starting next year? It should be starting next year, no? It's like a 3-year process, isn't it? And you have a cut-off part of the stadium periodically if you do it. Because if they want to be carrying the 2031 World Cup, they got to be finished way before then. And FIFA test it and make sure it works. So they have to finish at least a year before the World Cup commences. Now, if we go into the 2030 World Cup, well, if we don't go to this World Cup, we don't go reach World Cup again. I do think, though, that what Rudolph should do is be ruthless. So, Rudolph, let's talk football, Rudolph. Let's talk. Because you're a coach. So let's just come. Hey, Rudolph, give me a call and we can strategize. Me be the consultant. Me be the technical advisor. Me assist and don't insist. I'm going to assist and don't insist, Rudolph. I'm dead serious. I'll be a technical advisor. You have to be ruthless. Some players have to go. You some of the good ones, them. They got to go. We're starting afresh. We want to make Nations League, which start later this year. So we have to keep some of them players there, but we'll rotate them out. And we'll do plan for the World Cup, which start next year. Qualification start next year. So Rudolph, we can talk after the World Cup. I carry the World Cup game them on my channel. So after the World Cup, we can have a conversation. I want to be Miss JFF. I'm putting an application to be a consultant for the Jamaica Football Federation people. Please, I'm going to send you something where you can write down if you think I should be a consultant. I try to make some money to support my channel. I struggle financially with my channel. It's losing money. I can't be in any endeavor that loses money. But seriously, Rudolph will have to start planning for 2030 from now. Yeah, the president about 2 years. Around 2 years thing, brothers. After 4 years. Get him as much time as he get with more. One World Cup champion at a minimum. So what they should do is give Rudolph the keys, if he's going to get the keys for 4 years. If you have confidence in him, then it should be an issue. Good night.
Good night, Sir Kranky.
Good night, sir. How are you doing? What do you have to say? You support your new head coach for the national team?
Hell no.
What do you mean no? What do you mean? Are you not a Jamaican? You're not a patriot?
I'm not a patriot. I'm not an idiot. But I want to just make a quick call to you. I'm going to put on appropriate attire.
Yeah, I'll stop buying from program because you come lie down in your bed and this is a look at my screen. Look at my screen. See my screen.
I am telling you,
okay,
very serious.
Okay,
so I'm going to appropriate attire
and appropriate environment, not just attire. Environment. Yeah, no, I'm betting.
For years, you are never, say something.
No, we are changed. We're now going to be a JFF. We uplift the standards.
Oh, you're uplifting the standards.
Yes, okay. Uplifting the standards. Me soon come off my channel now. Me tired, man. Me tired. I get older now.
No, but by uplifting, you're only gonna listen to me. So send the link. But I just want to say quickly though. I'm in no way supportive of the move. Kranky, you would have known you're someone I talked to offline with reason about football, mutual respect. But I told you this. You had said at the time, rubbish. Mr. Speid has bigger ambitions than him.
I didn't know his ambition was so low.
No, so let me just state this. Mr. Speid's ambition, in my opinion, was to become a national hero. So he, I believe, was always going to fire Steve McLaren, walk out at the first World Cup since 1998, or in the 21st century, as they would call it. And whatever Jamaica did there, when I get him OJ and all of those wonderful things and name.
That's not a bad ambition to have. That's not a bad ambition.
Yeah, but God no love ugly. I also want to say, and I'm going to say it when I come out in my face, I don't want to hear, I can listen to Craig Butler, because he was part of the team and supported part of the team that I was supporting, but I am unwilling to listen to Mount Pleasant and their hypocrisy, because I recall us having a long meeting with Mount Pleasant, and these matters about conflicts of interest were raised, about the fact that this was the same old team, about the fact, and they listened, and in the end, Papa was not sent there as the delegate, the senior men's coach, as other clubs did, because you knew that Papa would never put an X for Mr. Speid. But in the end, Mount Pleasant, through its the director of football, whatever his chain smoking hell name is. As a matter of fact, we invited Mount Pleasant to a one-to-one meeting, and they came and listened to a 2-hour presentation and chose to support Rudolph Speid for director. Even when we started to tell them about the conflict of interest with being a director and being the head of the technical committee, we understood that there are people there who were connected to football clubs, right? They had no problem with it. Matter of fact, they were promised, and I say this with no water in my mouth, that the whole youth program and the Jamaica Academy would be turned over to Mount Pleasant because they had the facilities, and they would run the Jamaica Academy and youth football through the Mount Pleasant facilities.
So why your team never promised that?
Promise what?
Because
that would be corrupt.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I thought corruption wasn't.
Everybody's reaping what they sow.
I thought in Jamaica corruption was just innate, and we just close our eyes.
I have no problem with. So the word local goes now. When I told you that was the team that had the highest xenophobia, right? Instead of taking action for what you saw, you tell me as a president, you sat there and you were not comfortable and you were unhappy that the fact that the gentleman was not living on the island. When Paul Hall, one of the sticking points that they claim was that Paul Hall was willing to move to Miami, I was told, or Florida. I don't know if you had heard that at the time, but that was what was said, right? And so Paul was never retained because of that. Then in comes McLaren, and it's quite okay for him. But
I think,
they must defend and show us who and what, and just, you don't have to give us minutes of the meeting and whatever, but let us know what were the positions and who were the coaches, as Mr. Speid said, that the 5 that were given to the board, which is nonsense. The technical committee makes a recommendation, and the board either ratifies takes that recommendation and ratifies it, or they reject it and would have asked them to come again. I guess they would have had a second name or whatever. But we would need to know who was in consideration. What were the circumstances that made you make that choice? And in the campaign, when things were clearly going wrong, like you could have fired him after the Trinidad game and bring in an interim coach in a must-win game, if that's what you felt that needed to be done, that he was so egregious, right? Because by that time, what they're not telling you, that by that time, Mr. Speid was the advisor. But let me call you back.
Okay. Now it's Cataract people expresses his consternation and concern about the football and where we are and what's happening. I will say this, which is not making the World Cup has to be one of the worst situations ever for Jamaica in sports, actually. I don't think anyone who's involved with it should escape unscathed, given the fact that it wasn't complex, it wasn't difficult, it was really easy, and we failed it. And I think we failed it because of arrogance and complacency and overconfidence. Because if you hear the president in another forum, another channel talk about, we're making the World Cup and they will resign if we don't make the World Cup, even though they were pressured to say so. and also the confidence about when Hogums left, our ability to get to the next level. And that wasn't exhibited throughout the entirety of the process. I mean, it's very negligent when McLaren was going through the whole 16 months tenure. And he was very poor from the inception. When we played the US, I realized this man was not the man for the job. Anybody who can make in-game adjustments when they get their ass kicked should be your coach. And that was exacerbated when the man went to the Gold Cup with two midfielders. Like situations like that is not forgivable for the administration or for a coach.
You hit the nail on the head, and I'm going to say this. You were the original.
I thought you said you're coming on. Yeah, calling for.
No, I'm coming on. I forwarded. The start, that load up. I probably use my telephone.
It's unbelievable that a coach went to a major competition with two midfielders. The coach should be fired on the spot. Like those type of examples that I'm telling you, they are so egregious that even a person who knows about football would realize when you allocate the different positions, if you have 4 defender, 3 midfielder, and 3 forward, would know that 2, you can't take 2 midfielder to play 3 position. You should be fired right away. I was calling it out from day one. It was never changed. Those things are not forgivable, people. They're basic, fundamental things. Where were the people like Maverick and the traditional media call them thing there? Where was the JFF people who got the list of the team players before the game? Where did they call it out? Why didn't they call it out? Those things make no sense to me. So when people are beating you up and say you're this and you're that, and you're just too critical and you're this, you're looking at incompetence and like, what the hell? How could anybody who knows nothing about football, who say they're coaches or they're advocates or they're experts, and then you see these things happen and you just allow it to continue? Second of all, or third of all, the man didn't know the players. He didn't know the players. Apart from the ones who were in England, he only knows some of them in England. He didn't know all of them in England either. We know more about the players than he did, both local and abroad. We did. Because we truly follow it and spend time invested in it. He spent no time invested in the football program. He had to live on the island for us to know that he didn't give a damn. We care, he didn't care. And yet he got to, and then Simon protected his butt. Simon owned some of that. When we start asking questions, Simon protected him. His job is to be a media person. His job is to help, but he was protecting him. You ready? Kedarak, you ready?
Yeah, man, I'm ready.
See, you're in that dark again. Like you're living around Kiev.
That's what I say. Because I'm in my man cave. Don't you have a man cave? I have a man cave.
Don't have much light to it.
Don't have much light to it. Let me see if I can give you
As I've said before, Kedarak, the problem with Jamaica is, and I heard somebody say this the other day. May I talk to you? Come on, so now watch. I throw a word for people. Something about people in diaspora always are criticized when they come back and run the program. So let me say this to the people that want to say that. First of all, so none of you should have a goddamn thing to say about any team outside Jamaica. No Arsenal fan, no Man U fan, no Liverpool fan. You know, when you're Maverick on him program, I talk about say, oh, Liverpool did this and Gakpo can't play. No, nothing to say. Don't talk about no coach card. Nobody can talk about nothing. One of the things that them shouldn't talk about. So if we can't talk about Jamaica, where we are Jamaican citizens, or we're Jamaican supporters, and talk about the national team and the coaches, then don't talk about anybody else's team then. You're not English. Don't talk about no Arsenal. Don't talk about Man U. Don't talk about Chelsea. Don't talk about Liverpool. Don't have any of those conversations. Because only reserved for people who are born in that country and who support those teams. People globally shouldn't talk. Even though they spend their money, they shouldn't talk. Because only people, because one of them talking a crap about, oh, we're overseas, and it's easy to talk this, and that. It's such annoying to hear that nonsense. Nonsense. Then don't watch nobody else's team then. Just watch the local JPL team and comment upon them. Because them they are Jamaica. Because we can't comment upon the national team and we can't criticize when decisions are bad. And I don't want to tell you, come back and run because I don't know everything. We know more than you. That's very obvious. As you'll be failing so badly. That's very obvious. Get her at the stage. Oh, Lord have mercy. It looks like a mugshot.
Look here, you be like
Hey,
Dan
people,
Thomas.
people.
You be like Dan
People,
Thomas.
he's not in jail. I didn't lock him up. Cause people maybe say, well, you know, that jail. He's not in jail. People, I didn't lock him up. He has he's trying to look decent, and it's very hard to do. It's very hard to do.
54,
They want to have a
46.
mugshot.
That's my number. 54, 46.
Oh Lord.
That's my number.
No, let's go to the football, kiddo. Let's go to the football. Let me just say this actually. Look,
Yeah, man.
I get beaten from you and others about
Me?
my decision to support the current administration, who have now banned me, permanently from interviewing any of their people or from engaging me. Right? I understand that because I criticize them quite a bit. But when you're in the public domain, the public seat, if you're a politician or you have a public role, you have to understand the territory come with combination of praise and criticism. If you do great, you get the flowers. If you don't do great, people can't say you do great. Get over yourself. Get over yourself.
So this, I believe. So I am struggling to not believe that all of this was a sacrifice. That we were sacrificed on the altar of a Machiavellian master plan.
No. I don't think so. No.
Allow me to finish.
All right, go on.
I'm giving my viewpoint.
I'll put myself on mute. Go on.
No,
when you
no,
talk,
no,
you put on mute
no,
anyway, because you talk long.
We're having a reason. I'm looking back, I'm trying to find out what was the reason why Oligola Solskjaer wasn't when he was and apparently expressed some interest and was being looked at by Canada as well. Why wasn't he selected? In hindsight, we probably would have been better off selecting Dwight York. Because I think when we were schooled, or McLaren was schooled tactically by a former player of his. And I think Dwight York got his tactics correct. And we weren't able, even outside of the World Cup qualifiers, to ever really put a beating on Trinidad and Tobago. But the disturbing thing is this, and let me remain clear here. This administration came in with no manifesto. I think the day before 2 days before the election, they cut and paste some things, which was ridiculous because they didn't even change a typo or so, and presented and cobbled together something. But they had no plan. Their plan was that they were going to go to the World Cup, 10 million US, and everybody would have a huge payday. And they had this large Adidas contract, which was up for renewal. I hope you can give us some time for us to talk about some of the real root reasons why Jamaica didn't make it to the World Cup. But I am disturbed because the stance taken by the president is unconstitutional. You cannot have a job and then dictate that Jamaican citizens, qualified Jamaican citizens, are excluded. So, for example, Mr. Paul Hall has a pro license. Mr. Dion Burton has a pro license. Mr. Darren Moore has a pro license and would have coached in the English Premier League, keeping up West Bromwich Albion from relegation, right? If I'm correct, or getting them promoted, and then he requested a budget. That was Sheffield requested a budget to bring in players, and they refused to pay him as a black man coaching the same wages as other Caucasian coaches. He'd have been the lowest paid coach in the championship, I think. So they have at least 3 Jamaicans who have pro license coaching badges. And you're saying that if they have no pathway, no chance to coaching the Reggae Boyz. That's not constitutional. That's actually illegal. That's against the labor laws. It is. You may not discriminate based on residence. You can't, because what's the next step to say, okay, no coach that lives uptown? If you're saying that the job is open first to Jamaican citizens or Jamaican nationals, but the requirement of the job is that you reside on the island, that is fine. And therefore, anyone who wishes to reside on the island in the first instance, and then in the second instance, it's open widely. If you're also willing to say that this is the salary that we are going to pay, by the way, the JFF, before the audited statements come out, tell us what was Mr. Speid's salary during his tenure as the interim coach. Inquiring minds would like to know. To say that you would like Mr. Speid, and I'm going to say this categorically, Mr. Speid is not the most qualified Jamaican coach. I've given you 3. But certainly if you're talking about domestic base, the most qualified domestic-based coach is Theodore Tapper Whitmore. You know the support that I have for Tapper, right? And let me be honest, I don't think Tapper would have lost those 2 games in the manner that we did. I really don't. I think the president should resign, because I was at Traxon Records and there was Rene Simoes. So if you wanted to give an old man that thing, here is somebody who has a track record of qualifying for the World Cup with Jamaican players. So this is ridiculous. If you head a committee and you just recuse yourself, and that committee recommends you, which again, if you want transparency, show us the minutes of the meeting of the technical committee. Give us the date and the time and the venue of the meeting, if there ever was one. So you really recommended yourself to the board. You may have recused yourself from that board meeting, but you sit in those meetings with everyone else. So that is a conflict of interest and undue pressure on the other members of the board. What are the board members gonna vote? 11 of them, yes, you say. They're gonna vote 5-6 that you not be the coach, and then the people sitting in the room don't turn to you and say to you, "Yo, you know, say is Danny Dredd from St. and vote against you." And then you go back to your role as head of the committee, and then what happened to Danny Dredd players them from St. Anne? How do you sit in a meeting with you? Boy, I think say me and your brethren and you know, vote to support me. So that's absolutely bull and caca.
Why do you say to that comment on the screen?
What's the comment? I can't see that.
It says, Cataract, none of them have been head coaching success. Like, none of them have been, anyway, it's not English, but Cataract, none of them have been head coaching success like Speid. They are not as qualified, except Hall, who coached Jamaica, but he discounted himself from his disrespect towards the JFF. So what he's basically saying is that none of the coaches you mentioned, whether it's Darren Moore or Paul Hall, have had the success like Speid has had.
Darren Moore?
I know he doesn't. He thinks he knows. You think he knows everything? Yeah, I know. I know.
It's Kranky show, and you're trying to be professional and speak English. You're full of nuts.
No, Reggae Boyz Rector is a brilliant person in his own mind, so you can't say him does.
No, he's a madman. He's a madman in his own mind and a clown in the mind of the rest of us.
I have no idea. When somebody says somebody's successful coaching in Jamaica and coaching in the Caribbean, and then a win outside the Caribbean, and you said they've been extremely successful. Well, Speid did beat New Caledonia, same one game outside the Caribbean. But the level matters, and I keep trying to tell people this, and they don't understand. Level matters. Level matters.
Which game outside the Caribbean?
New Caledonia. Come on, man. Get with the program. Get with the program. You don't understand? Rudolph was 4-0, you know. He didn't lose a game in 90 minutes up to now. He has lost a game in 90 minutes. That's true.
I give him a victory. Three victories against what was the average ranking? Get that for me, Kranky, because he loves to say Google it.
It's over 100. It's over 100. It's over 100. It's over 100.
all of the countries were over 100.
Over 100, yes. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. We're 70. So very much better. You're playing people in your category. Do you know Caledonia was about 150 or something? Yeah. But they're quite over 100 too.
Yeah, we're double. As a matter of fact, all of
but
those
Congo was 48, right?
No, I'm not.
But we lost to Congo, so that doesn't matter. Okay.
Right,
okay.
Right. Good.
But we held them to extra time.
No, and now I'm hearing that it's not a loss because the goal was a handball.
Yes, it was a handball. Yes, actually, I did say to people, I won't say who I said it to, that they should go protest to FIFA. They ain't gonna overturn the thing, but you have some credit in the bank. Get some credit in the bank.
Some credit by Mr. Speid. So now he's gonna say he's undefeated by legal goals.
Yeah, he's undefeated by it's a legal goal. Yeah, it's a disputed. Yeah.
So, listen. My crimes against Mr. Speid as a national coach. Let's just take a national coach, right?
Right.
Any national coach worth their weight in salt gets a draw that gives you New Caledonia and Congo. The first thing you do, the very first thing you do, is start contacting the best teams in the Oceania region. New Zealand, Vanuatu, Vanuatu, they qualify for some under 17 World Cup and stuff. And secure a friendly game to play against similar opposition. You would then go to West Africa or Central Africa. Congo is DR, Zaire, former Zaire. And you would, of course, try to secure a game against a CAF team, an African Confederation team, certainly from West or Central Africa, where the same sort of style, same sort of build and physical attributes may be present. That's as best as possible. That's what you do. Instead, you take a game
What up, color?
2 minnows that made the players.
Right?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, but one second, I'm gonna give the caller, because callers are important. I gave to build up your personal resume. There could be no other reason, because you couldn't evaluate that Fuller was going to be good, or that Ellis was going to be good and ready enough to take part in the World Cup Intercontinental Tournament, because you could make no measure from playing minnows. Let's give them the correct title, right? And so you underprepared that you couldn't even get the local based thing right. That you would not have sought to, even in those tournaments, Kranky, to call up players who were playing for their academies, which we have done in the past under Paul Hall when we played Trinidad, that two series, right? 2-game series, Montego Bay and Kingston. The academy players were released, which would have included, no, it wouldn't include Whisper, he's not an academy player now, but Kaim Dixon, play academy football. And the other youngsters who have represented Jamaica. So that you'll be truly looking at the talent who are available in that non-international window. So you didn't do that because you weren't interested in unearthing any great talent from the United Kingdom. You weren't interested. What's the name from Fulham? Who was at Fulham, the midfielder? Have a double barrel surname. Went home from the under 20s because he laughed after Fuzzy.
Oh yeah. I forgot his name, but yeah.
Right? You weren't interested in seeing Malachi Welch, who was a CDM for the under 20s.
But we've been calling up a long time now.
Yeah, but caller, run through.
Yeah, hello.
Go on, caller, go on.
Yeah, Cataract. You know Cataract style already. Manners and respect, Kranky. Good night.
Good night. Yeah.
Blessings and guidance. God and good road.
Yeah. Cataract, me hear you mention something on our next program the other day. and just coach and system and all that thing. I'm from young Kranky at talk. Since night.
Yeah, break up, caller. Caller, you break up in a minute. Something wrong with the line.
You're breaking up. Can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, you hear me now?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm saying me a cataract on the next program the other night. Me that watch the program and cataract was on it and he mentioned something about system and all of that and then thing. From night me not hear none of mention about system. Even though I was listening from Kranky, I hear a mention the players from the diaspora, the local players and play a game. And the people in the comment section against it. But I think that would be a good thing to do. You know, because people been complaining, say, we need a balance and we need a mix or whatever. But at the same time, I don't see no coach in Jamaica developing a good midfielder. When last we can find a good midfielder out of Jamaica? Long time. See? And we've been having this problem with a good number 6. Been having a problem before the World Cup start. So we need a number 6 to control the pace of the game, up tempo. As old as Ravel Morris was, or is, I should say, he would make a great difference in the team that they don't have to play 90 minutes. They can bring him on. Suppose they get the lead. Nobody in the Jamaica team hold on for the ball and make the passes there and take control of the game. None. We have no midfielder like that. You understand? And Kranky from day one, when the election held, the president's election held, he did tell you, it's a failure from day one. You understand? And I will mention it back. At the same time, right now, me hear Cataract say, he mentioned something about Darren Moore and he mentioned something about Paula. One of the time I was watching an interview with Darren Moore, and Darren Moore is very interested in the job. He said if them approach it, he would have take the job. And them never did approach it. I mean, support what Cataract said. Darren Moore coach in the Premier League, the highest league in the world. You understand? And his team was doing well. It's just because he never get the support financially. That is why they go back to the championship. You understand? Look on League. He come up Sunderland. They spend a lot of money. You have to spend money to stay up in the previous league. And that is the same thing with Jamaica program. The man them get the money. Whenever them get the money, them now use the money back in the football. See? So the corruption a come financially and it a come other ways. Because the financial, look at this. The Jamaica Premier League can get over $100 million sponsor to run their season. But the Reggae Boyz can get a sponsor until Adidas sorry for Jamaica come to get a sponsor. That is embarrassing.
Well, they had more sponsors this year than they've ever had, you know.
Yes, because they believe, the people believe, because them say, yes, this is an easy opportunity.
Well, that is true.
That's why them get all the sponsors and Kranky. Me and you know that, you know, because we watch football a long time. And we know you have a lot of people, they watch football, but they don't study the business of the football. That is why I love your program. I like when Cataract come on the program, because the man hit the nail right on the head. You understand? Why we can't get 3 or 4 coaches that know the system, know the pain to play for the Reggae Boyz, coaching the Reggae. Yeah, we can get like a Whitmore and a Paula, a Darren Moore. You understand? We can get three local coaches and put them together and get them to coach the program. We don't have to go overseas to get an overseas coach, because once the man have them A license, them know for coach. Why you have to go for a man overseas we fail several times him fail by coaching? I have a youth in to qualify. Anyway, me have so much things to say, Grant. I just want to big you up and bless up, get a rock on the program.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call.
Bless up yourself.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the call. I'll say a couple of things. One is this, which is whoever's coaching Jamaica's football team, I'm supporting Jamaica football team, is not necessarily supporting the person, right? Because we love Jamaica football, and we can't just stay on the sidelines watch a football and not be involved in some way, shape, or form. We may not be able to influence decisions, we may not be able to affect decisions, but at minimum we can support the team, right? Because about the team is not about any individual per se. And the kids who sacrifice to play for the country, local or international, who are part of the process, they aspire to play for the Reggae Boyz. Everybody want to play international football, no people. It's a very few who get to do it, you know. Everybody, and you hear some people like Brazilian, them sacrifice everything to play for the national team. And I sacrifice them club career. Them not care. Because the national pride is everything. And we can't say, oh, we're going to boycott because we don't like this. Yeah, we don't like it. We may push against it. But when it's done, you move on. Because you can't change it. It is what it is. And Cataract, you know this more than anybody else because you are involved in trying to replace the current administration. The electoral process is flawed.
No, it's corrupt.
Well, I don't like to use the word corrupt. I'm going to say it's flawed.
I'm going to say that if you have a voter list that the opponent receives on the day of the election morning, but again,
one second, caller.
I'm going to respond to the previous caller. Said he probably hit the nail on the head. And when you finish with this caller, we can talk about some of the systemic reasons why I think where Jamaica went wrong. And I'm going to start with that number 6 role that he spoke about.
Go on, caller. Go on.
Night caller. Welcome to Kranky Live.
Yeah, man. Kranky.
Good night.
First thing, are you guys hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, we're hearing you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, man. So my question is to you, Katara. Now, it's well known that you would have supported or you were a part of Raymond Anderson's slate during the last election, right?
Yes, he was.
I campaigned. I was not on the slate. I didn't want any position. I gladly play Cataracts on 7 nights a week, so I didn't want any position.
He was a campaign manager.
No, I was not the campaign manager. Wayne Thompson from St. Thomas FA was a campaign manager. I was not the campaign manager.
All right.
I was on the road with the candidate.
So you were supportive of
Absolutely.
Of that side, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
All right. So the question I have is well, I'm not sure if you can answer because you said that you were not a part of the slate. However, I'm still going to ask a question. So after listening to Mr. Rudolph Speid, I think it was sometime after the election where he was breaking down the different aspects to the voting process in terms of the different pillars, pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3, which would speak to the 56 or 57 votes that would have been increased from about 13 or 14. Now, when he broke it down, explaining the number of votes per pillar, and especially the last pillar, which would have had to do with the affiliates or the associates, right? My question is, which would be posed to the side that would have been going against Mr. Speid, right? Which you were supportive of. And yes, FIFA would have mandated them to have reform in terms of increasing the number of votes from, I said, 13 or 14 to 56, because it's something that's good because you want to get as much persons involved in the voting process, right? So the question I have is why wasn't it highlighted, or was there any pushback from Raymond Anderson's side where it would speak to one particular party garnering a set number of votes in different pillars? So, for example, Mr. Speid at the time would have been able to garner votes in pillar 2 from having the top male team and the top female team, right? At the point in time. In addition to that, you move over to pillar 3. The coaching association that was eventually recognized was one that he would have instituted, and I think Andrew Peart at the time would have been the head of that institution, as opposed to one that was already there, which was headed by Vin Blaine. Right? So my question is, why wasn't there any, or if there was any pushback from Mr. Anderson's side in regards to excluding one person from garnering, X amount of votes in different pillars, because that would mitigate against one person or one side manipulating the whole voting process.
All right. So let me answer you, bro. Let me see if I get the question correctly. The campaign team of Mr. Raymond Anderson wrote numerous communiques to Caribbean Football Union, CFU, CONCACAF, and to FIFA about irregularities in putting together the voters list. So what really happened, if I'm being factual, is once somebody met with Raymond Anderson's team and it became supportive, then that organization was replaced by another organization, including down to the last minute, the Referees Association. So the voters list at the end of the day was presented to us, official one, on the morning of the election, right? So we wouldn't have even fully known who to campaign to within the organization, right? Those protests were made, and I would just answer you by saying, where is beach football now? That was the biggest scandal, right? That's the biggest scandal and the big and one of the where's futsal right now, right? So when you create fake or paper organizations so that person supportive of the administration, and as Mr. Speid proudly said at the time, he never broke any rules, he just bent them over like a black, right? But he didn't break them, he bent them. Wonderful. This is what you get. But one thing I can say about me and Kranky will notice, we have mended fences in here. I stand for something, so I don't fall for everything. And I Cataract stood for 7 days outside of the GFF. Me, one on God, and a TVJ reporter, the rest of them normally fight against, came and video me with a sign. I paid for it, 25,000 Jamaican dollars for the banner. Speed out, and man laugh after me, right? No man want to go protest. Speed out. Now come to me. Because I'm going to tell them. So what you have to wait for now is that you have to wait for the next opportunity that there's a democratic election due for the JFF, which was another 2 years you have to wait. But
Cataract, from what you're saying then, and Stefan, from the good question, Stefan, and from what you're saying, Cataract, you may never have what you call a fair election. It's like in the US, for example, where they're trying to change the voting process, satisfy one party, right? Manipulate the process. You may never have a fair voting process.
But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, for example, the JFF is mandated to provide accommodation and a per diem for all the 56 persons who are voting, right? A budget is in there and it's part of the Constitution. Well, Mr. Speid, what did the president's side do, and Mr. Speid, who was the point person his campaign, do? They just provided accommodation for those people who were supporting them. Mr. Anderson, we had to spend a lot of the money that we got on accommodation and transportation and stuff for the delegates that were in the end supporting us. But even right on the floor, I'll tell you this. Irvin White, I'm afraid of no boy, no way. A man came to vote in the wrong name, 2 different spelling. WHIT is different from Mr. WHYTE. Nowhere in the world could people with 2 different spellings of their name be allowed to vote. And I came off the stage and I went in the face of the FIFA representative and said, this is fraud. And she said, no habla inglés. and I use my little Spanish. I use my Spanish. Esta la corrupción. And she probably did say no speak English either. But no, she said no hablas English. No comprende.
So
And I
why is
did
she there if she don't speak English?
because everything was a farce.
What I'm saying is an English speaking environment, is an English speaking country. Why would you complain to FIFA about that?
When we asked, because FIFA did not respond to not one of the letters, neither FIFA, CFU, nor CONCACAF, not even responding to say received. Right, so
All right. So I get you, Catherine. I hear what you say. So,
right, but
however, though, all right. So yeah, I get what you're saying in regards to pointing out the irregularities and putting it to the relevant authorities for them to have them rectified, right? However, here's my other question in regard, because when you hear Mr. Speid's pushback at the time, because I listened to, I would have been listening to him over a number of years and on various platforms, and his pushback at the time in regards to the reform of the Constitution was that Mr. Anderson would have been a part of that reform, and he was okay with whatever that was put forward by the incumbent party, right? So I'm asking, or is
by the board, and Raymond Anderson, wherever he is, will always have to live with the fact that he did not vociferously object to what was
so during
so yeah, a man has to take responsibility.
Right, so that would have been my and that would have been my next question. That's the question I was actually going to. Was there any objection whenever that reform was being done in terms of from a constitution standpoint, right, where the number of votes are increased and how it would be broken down per pillar? Was there any objection, right, from Mr. Anderson's side?
No, it would have been. So let me ask you, and I don't want I being a respect as a call and team, but right now we know you want to go in the election. But let me just say, at the time there would have been no side. There was a board. So I never involved in a nothing.
Yes.
I just sitting at the stand and drink rum and eat KFC chicken and follow out the youth team and a yam party every day. I drive from Mandeville, come a stadium, right? Come up at the Horace Center for watch the under 20 team be mishandled by Fuzzy, right? So there was no team at the time. There was no Anderson slate. There was simply a board of directors, and Mr. Anderson will have to be accountable for the fact that he was not vociferous, even if he was going to be voted down, because the board overwhelmingly was voting to really keep itself. And I'm going to say this publicly, because at that time he had no thoughts of challenging. So it would have, those reforms would have just brought back the incumbent board again. So he didn't, at the time, I didn't think he had any thoughts of challenging for presidency. There was an understanding that Ricketts would not have offered himself again. So yes, he has to shoulder a portion of the blame.
So where do we go from here, guys? Because this conversation is like
right. So that's what I'm saying. I want to get into where should be. So I Sedella Marley, anywhere you are, please.
Me close them soon now, so let's make the case. Starting Stefan, but Stefan still there? Any other questions, Stefan?
No, man, that was my question. I mean, as far as I'm concerned at this point in time, yes, we found another election, and I mean, let's see what happens in terms of where the coaching is concerned. But my thing is, has always been, from a constitution standpoint, from a democratic standpoint, let your voices be heard at the poll. That's how I see it. You just have to wait until the next election is called, because constitutionally, they just have to they'll be there until that time comes. So my thing is to wait until that point in time and let your voice be heard. That's how I view this. All
right. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
So Kranky, my only word on that is, when you have a failure, the honorable thing to do is to tender your resignation and the resignation is either accepted, the public can all go, whoa, no, don't resign. Stay, we believe in you, or your resignation is accepted. And
Yeah,
you
no,
go your way.
look, we saw what happened in Italy, right? People may say, well, it's a bigger country. The concept is still the same. They haven't been to the last 3 World Cup. Call that 9, 12 years or what you want to call it. We haven't been since the 90s. So we are in a worse situation, even though they're more footballing powerhouse and have more resources. And they're now talking about leveraging diaspora more. Not diaspora, but leveraging immigrants more on their football program because the local is not working. We're trying to go opposite direction when that's never really worked anyway. So, Kevin, what do you have to say to close this out? Because I have to go soon. What is it to close this out? In terms of next
Can we
steps?
have a good 15 minutes to end at 2.5 hour show?
All right.
I think
We have 14 minutes because that's 20.
Well,
Yeah. And I know you can talk for 2 hours, but you only have 14 minutes. Though.
So let me say this. I believe the first step forward is to, in the senior men's national team, right? The root problem for me occurred in a meeting where the following phrase was made. Ivan Toney is a penalty merchant. And therefore, that was a meeting. And therefore, leading on from that, we never aggressively pursued Ivan Toney until into his second season in the Premier League, right? And we could have had a more realistic chance of convincing him when he was in the championship.
So you need to reposition that. You need to reposition that.
I'm saying to you.
No. Here's where you need to reposition it.
No, man. Let me just.
No, you listen.
Okay.
So you're talking, we got to be moving away from the detail and more the holistic approach. The recruiting strategy was flawed. Our recruiting strategy is flawed. So I haven't told you just one element of that or one aspect of that. The recruiting strategy, how you recruit a team of players to come play for you and be part of your system and part of what you want to achieve is flawed. Okay? So the one-off Tony here and Mason Clark here and that, it's a flawed process. You need to have a comprehensive recruiting process that entails multiple countries where you have your diaspora based and where they have footballing capability and ability. And then you go source players from that in a very structured, well thought out way. And to do it not just at the senior level, but sometimes the junior level so they can mature to your senior level.
So you're already giving me 14 minutes. I'm trying to
go ahead, but I'm helping you. I'm helping you.
Everything you said is wonderful. And I have no disagreement in it. But I also want to say this. The reason why I single out Ivan Toney is I don't see many of the nations that qualified did so on the back of a proven goal scorer, a clinical finisher. 40-year-old, nearly 40-year-old Lewandowski, Poland tried to. But the country that qualified there with what's my man name, about 40, 41 now?
Yeah, Bosnia Herzegovina.
With
right? Yeah.
What's his name? I don't want to.
Sesko.
No, it's
Dzeko. Sorry. Yeah.
Formerly of Manu.
Not Sesko. Sesko of Manu. Dzeko, yeah.
Right, Dzeko. Man City. Eldin Dzeko.
Yeah.
We do not have a clinical finisher. And have not had one since Luton Shelton.
Is it Luton or is it what's his name from the UK?
Who?
That played in the World Cup qualifiers, the bad boy.
Who, Andre Gray?
No, he scored 3 in Latin America in a game. Who did we beat? Yeah, man. But anyway, keep going.
Marlon King?
Yes.
But Luton Shelton.
Is it Jamaica's top goal scorer? Yeah. Top goal scorer.
No, his career extended past Marlon King's. That's why I said he's the last.
Okay.
So I believe the first thing that you would identify is here finding and locating a clinical 20 goal a season type. That's what they're called. My understanding is, because somebody said I don't know football, striker, and begin to build there. Right? The fact is that we did have options. Mason Greenwood, for example, would have been an option, but we overlooked, for example, Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins when Ollie Watkins was at Brentford.
But
Right?
it goes
So
back to what I
no,
said earlier. It's about the
but
recruiting process.
yes, I'm saying the recruiting process must start by identifying 2 possible 20-goal a season strikers to lead the line. Some countries only have 1. And build from there. Our next Achilles heel, a creative, mercurial talent in the number 10. I don't believe Ravel will be available for the next World Cup in 2030.
No, he won't.
Right?
He was available for this one. He wasn't selected. So we can forget about that.
And a number 6 tandem, a 6 and a 8, and then a centre-back pairing. A steadied centre-back pairing that has 2 backups that are rotated, but a solid centre-back pairing. You know what? Big up Blue Flame Sound. Big up Blue Flame Sound from down at Tel Aviv. I went to play at a dance in Tel Aviv on Rum Lane, and the sound man watches Kranky live.
He's talking about Tel Aviv in Jamaica, not Tel Aviv in Israel, right? I'm just going to make sure we're clear.
I've played in Israel before, but not Tel Aviv.
But I'm just saying it's not Tel Aviv. I'm just going to make sure people are clear about. Yes.
Down at town. Tel Aviv. Spoilers. Pankla. Yeah. Rumbling.
Keep going. Yeah, run the time. You have 9 minutes left.
As a matter of fact, the man just put on one mix and spend theme over that he play and talk to me about Kranky Live and Ryan LFC and Jamaican football. And you know, he said something. I'm going to attribute it to him. He said, Jamaica's chance of going to the World Cup ended in Mexico when Nyron Noseworthy received the career-ending Achilles injury.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so deep. In a young youth, in a youth,
in old like you, same young.
They're not old like me. My 30s, about 40, but probably them 30s, 20s, 30s. And we have never put together a steady centre-back pairing like what we had when it was Adrian Maria.
I'm gonna cut you for 1 second. Say this. So I was watching Latti play this weekend for Coventry. He played centre half. I can't remember him playing one long ball. I'm just trying to remember. I don't remember him playing one long ball. In the game, they played against a good team in Hull, who were giving them a hard time. The game draws 0-0, but I can't remember him playing one long ball. And I had Latti Pinnock centre half pairing because I thought we needed somebody in the back line who's gonna play a defense and play at a high level and playing regularly, right? And we'll have that comfort in it. And I thought Latti struggled at right back, to be honest. So I thought, would I put Free at right back and Latti at centre half? So I think Rudolph missed that trick in that, actually. I think he missed that trick in a number of areas, especially right wing, right centre half. And people will say him go again with locally born players. But it's a fact. I thought he missed that trick. But anyway, keep going.
The second one I would say, after the failure to get a number 9, was the length of time it took to find a replacement for Anthony Grant. The gap between Anthony Grant being snubbed and blacklisted from the Reggae Boyz to when Isaac Hayden came in. So there was not a proper transition in the center of the park. We did all kind of nonsense. At one time, I stopped counting at 15. Right. So we had 5 coaches in 5 years. I would think we had 15.
Yeah, but the CDM role is a problem for Jamaica, even in the diaspora. We can't point to another really good 6. So Jamaica, you have limited and none. And in England, there aren't too many people of heritage players in England who are playing the 6 really well, who we could source. There isn't.
When somebody came to me, I said, I don't know. I think there's one youth in the championship and I'm watching him, right? But there was a time when we started in 2021, 2022, when we were 2022, to qualify in 2021. There was a time when there was David Davis at Birmingham City. There's Anthony Grant. who I thought was the best at the time, along with Isaac Hayden. I thought Isaac Hayden might have, smidged him in terms of pedigree. And then we had Kevin Stewart, Dr. Glass, right? Down the line, we had, what you call my boy there, Jordan Cousins. I don't know why he has never been looked at again after the one game in
We don't hear anything
Catalonia.
about where's Cousins playing anyway.
League One.
For who?
Play every week. You can check it. I don't want to give misinformation. But
What's
he's
Cousins'
in League
first
One.
name?
Jordan Cousins. I don't rate him as a player, but he's there and he has put on the shirt. Right?
We need quality. We don't need no second tier player. Not a league, but we need quality.
He's not at age now. And I'm saying to you, I don't know. I can't see the player. I can't see him. So God, I pray every day that God bless Isaac Hayden's knees. Right?
All right, that's some team called Eagles FC. What the?
Oh, no.
East League.
East League
Yeah,
FC.
What's that? National? He's in the National League, for Christ's sake.
No,
we're not going National League.
But at the time, no man, I'm not going National League.
Yeah, I'm going National League.
I'm not going National League. So I think I'm just saying that he was in League One the last time I looked. I checked up on him, right? But we have to find a number 6. Certainly, it's number 6 because Isaac Hayden, we know his injury history, and a centre back pairing, right? So recruitment has to be there. I believe
we have people like what's his name from Juventus, who we should try to work on his papers from now. Like Kelly. Lloyd Kelly's a good player.
Yeah,
we should try to get Lloyd Kelly. Look, Rudolph. No, you watch the program. Rudolph, go work on it now. Get Max Aaron from Rangers. Get Dujan Sterling from Rangers in there, Celtic. Rangers in there. Get Keenan Davis from Sassuolo.
I don't think Keenan is the answer.
Keenan has been playing well. Keenan has been playing really well. I watched Keenan. Keenan has been playing well. His overall game has improved significantly from Villa.
I just tell you, I don't think he's the answer. I believe one of the errors why we didn't qualify, and I know I'm not going to put this on Rudolph Speed, except to say that he should have been more aggressive, is Cameron Archer. Because I believe Cameron Archer would have tucked away those shots. Cameron Archer.
No.
Hold on, let me finish. Allow me, please. Cameron Archer declined the call-up. Just my understanding is, let me just leave it at that. He declined the call-up.
Cameron Archer is not getting the game at Southampton.
Yes, however, Mr. Speed made it known that those same could have been said about Ethan Pinner.
No, Rudolph explained that. Rudolph explained that about 10 times.
I would explain that for Cameron Archer at a top club like Southampton.
But he declined the call-up, so we're going to do him decline the call-up.
But allow me to finish. I said if you were more aggressive, and I would have said, this is what I would have said to Cameron Archer. I know you're struggling for game time at Southampton, and the goals are not coming in as they do. But we are inviting you into a team that creates numerous big chances per game.
Which team that?
Jamaica. We do create big chances. And we need someone to tuck away those chances. That is your bread.
I don't know which big chance you're talking about with Jamaica. I don't know which big chance you're talking about.
Chances. Come on.
Yeah, against Curacao, we did at home, but we didn't create enough big chance against New Caledonia. Now we create enough big chance against...
We create big chances against New Caledonia and then put them away.
I'm not calling big chance. We don't create a big chance against DR Congo. None. Zero.
But in a game...
No, Archer would be as good as what we have, to be honest, even though he ain't playing no portion of ball. Archer is not worse than any of the players we have in the front line. He's not worse than Bailey. He's not worse than Mason Clark. He's not worse than Andre. He's not worse than any of them. But Archer's not getting any game time. Archer's not playing any football. I like Archer. Archer is quick. He can play a wing too. Archer is a good player. He's just not getting game time.
Bailey Kadamati now get the more game time.
That is true. But Bailey Kadamati want to come play. He want to come play.
And I'm saying to you,
Good night.
That is not on Rudolph.
Kranky, I know I'm on here. I'm listening to you and Cataract.
Yes, go ahead, Diego. What I say?
It's a question for Cataract, though.
Okay.
Sure, Mike.
Cataract, the music, man.
In my area. Go ahead.
Hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I heard him saying, because a caller had called, or somebody called the station today and said they believe that the only way you can damage if you want the JFF out is to hit that money tree. You know, whether you're a sponsor,
Right.
or you're anybody that gives them money. The only way to damage and is like blood to the human body. If you want a human body to die, then you just, if there's no blood, they can't live. Money is what makes all these federations live. And the caller said that we represent money, fans represent money to the federation. And the only way, because I see it in America every day, where fans, if they're not pleased with what's going on, their only recourse is they stop subscribing to the next station, and they put power. They stop attending. They stop buying paraphilias and jerseys. But I hear Katarak saying that before. I know he's against the boycott. I'm trying to understand why is he now against the boycott when he was the first I heard come with it.
No, I've never suggested a boycott. Never. I've never suggested
I
a
thought
boycott.
you said go in front of the JFF.
No,
So maybe I misunderstood. What were you suggesting back
no.
then?
They're saying protest versus boycott, right?
Protest.
Protest versus boycott.
Protest.
Yeah, protest.
Oh,
Protest. Yeah.
okay, okay, Cataract, not a problem. I got you.
No, but I want to answer I want to give my take on what you're saying because it's a very valid point. The difference is that the number of shirts that actual Jamaicans buy is a fraction of a percentage of the sales of Jamaican jerseys worldwide.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
Right? It's bought as a fashion statement by a myriad of people. So we wouldn't even really dent Adidas' sales per se. Jamaica has really football has 4 streams of income, and I list them in order. Number 1, FIFA grants and the money that they send to the federation, what they call it, the MA. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
The MA, right? That's number 1. Number 2 would be the Adidas sponsorship, but Adidas really isn't concerned with Jamaican football per se. Adidas is concerned with reggae and Bob Marley. Yeah, that's where they see the money. Brand Jamaica, brand Bob Marley, right? And so they're going to be here for the long haul. Because whether we go to World Cup or not, if we gone to the World Cup, their website would have been broken again, right? And I mean literally break the internet. Like when the first Jamaican jersey came out, Adidas jersey, and there was a run on it. The third would be the government of Jamaica and its subvention that it gives. And last but not least, no.
Last but least.
After that would be qualification monies, prize money, like from
But
the
that's
Reggae
not a
Boyz.
guaranteed money.
No, it's not guaranteed.
You're talking about guaranteed money. There's everything guaranteed money, non-guaranteed money.
No, then you're going on to what's not guaranteed. Because gate receipts are not a guarantee, because you don't know how many people turn up.
Well, no, you guarantee gate receipts. The question is how much you're going to get.
Yeah, but
somebody going to turn up at the stadium.
Yeah, you guarantee.
Give me a chance, guys, please.
Go ahead.
So
give me a chance.
Fans at tickets, fans attendance at the game, the gate receipts is probably the least. It's the least.
Yeah, it is the least.
Revenue streams.
Yeah, man. I pretty much think most people know that. Cataract. The argument was though, even then, no, I don't think the JFF or the players or the JFF want to see an empty stadium in Jamaica. So I think that if they want to do it, it's not going to, as you say, bend them or bend the JFF financially. But I don't think any stadium, I hear the NBA players and I hear all the American players, nobody wants to see an empty stadium. So that would be an embarrassment, though.
It's bad for TV, but we have been playing in front of an empty stadium for years now. It's the last time the stadium was full and park was the debacle against South. And I think it'll be years. I don't think that stadium will be full again
I
until
think fans
2030.
were coming up before Curacao. Fans came out for the Guatemala game because I was there. Mainly in grandstand, but fans came out. Yeah, for the Guatemala game. We beat Guatemala 3-0.
Yeah, but
Fans
it wasn't
came
full.
out. It wasn't full. It wasn't full. It wasn't full.
About 20,000, if I recall.
Yeah, it was a good turnout. It was a good turnout.
But
It was a
I'm
good
talking
turnout.
the packed arena, a packed stadium. And I don't expect to see a full stadium again for football until 2029, when we're trying to qualify for 2030 or 2030.
Well, it's really my mistake, Kadarak. I thought on another show, I guess I misunderstood you. I thought you were supporting a boycott. That's why I was puzzled when you said you were against it. So, but you cleared it up.
Yeah, man. Respect you, man. We all human beings, you know. But I said you raised a good point. You allow me to clarify some things, and I just think that listen, if fans feel clearly about Mr. Speid, and if you go stand up outside, where's Adidas headquarters? Go stand up outside of Adidas big thing. Is it in Chicago or New York? They have a big flagship store. Let's stand up in front of there and say Rudolph Speid out. No to the JFF. And I bet you after 2 days, Adidas called them and asked them what's going on in front of our store.
Some people just think you're a madman because I know who Speid is, but that's another story.
Mr. Speid said you have to call his name along with Pep. Come on.
You're like, what was that Speid? Where we run go? Wait, what Speid? Where we race?
Well, my question for you, Kranky, the football.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who was the backup number 9 that was in the squad?
I must be Jamalo and Fuller back the way. There are 2. Jamalo and Fuller were the backup.
Fuller wasn't in the 23 on the bench.
No,
but I'm saying the squad.
In the 23.
No, you said the squad. You said the 23.
Yeah, but Fuller was Fuller changed on the squad?
No local players changed. No local players changed.
No.
Right.
No.
So if it's puzzling me if Jamalo came on about 10-11 minutes in the first game against Caledonia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why didn't he not get a game as the backup number 9 in the second game?
I don't think they were impressed with his cameo.
No, and
he looked like he was running. He looked like he was running like Al Gray. He was running in mud. He was running in mud.
No, that makes sense to you, Kranky. If he's your backup number 9, and a game in like Caledonia 11 minutes. That's the reason why he didn't play him in the second game?
I don't know what the reason was, but I assume, look, he mentioned that he had 4 mandatory changes because of players being cramping up.
Which is a lie.
No, that's not a lie.
Yes, it is. I have.
I think there were 3 changes because of cramps.
Yes, and one of them is a damn lie. But the player told you it's good.
Which player?
Which player?
I can't do that.
My understanding of they had planned to change Bobby Reed. And Bobby Reed wasn't a cramp, but there were 3 were cramps. I know Hayden. I told somebody said Hayden say he could have continued. That's what I was told.
There's a player, I'm not calling any name, that said, "Let me die out here."
Okay, but they didn't want to die, so they saved him.
Let him die out here.
So it made sense to you. Are you saying it made sense to you then, Kranky, that
No,
number 9?
Look, a lot didn't make sense. The biggest not make sense is Leon Bailey staying on the field.
No, man, hold on, Kranky. I'm being specific.
No, if you brought Jamal Lowe to be back of Federer, no, it should be.
I'm just asking if it makes sense to you. That's all. Jamal Lowe.
No. Jamal Lowe to me wasn't. He looked like he wasn't. He didn't run well to me when he's in that 12-11 minutes. But you can't judge somebody when 12 to 11 minutes, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can't judge
the number 9 in a game like that for 12 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
But caller, I have a different viewpoint. I don't understand why, with 10 minutes to go and penalty kicks looming, you wouldn't have brought on Jamal Lowe, who would have been a penalty kick taker for me. I'd have been comfortable with Jamal Lowe taking penalty kicks. He shoots well, and he has weaknesses in other areas of his game, right?
But I think they want to get Cephas on the field, and they didn't want to take out Bailey for God knows, I don't know why.
No, but you could not be telling me that somebody thought it would have been a good idea for Leon Bailey to kick a penalty for Jamaica.
It wasn't a good idea for Leon Bailey to be in the damn field. Like think about it this way. Look, I showed somebody Campbell's stats today and Bailey's stats. They're not comparative. Bailey's stats are the worst I've ever seen in a football game, period. Campbell was 2 and 3 of dribble. Bailey was like 1 of 7 or 1 of 6. 1 of 7 of crosses. Campbell was 2 of 3 and Cross. Like it's ridiculous when you look at the stats as to why Campbell came off and Bailey didn't come off. And secondly, I had no problem with FIFA playing centre forward like some people, you know. But the balls weren't getting to the destination. So that's why it didn't really work, because King just kicked with the people in ball. Kick with the ball throughout the whole game, just keep kicking the ball away. And he still remained on the field.
I was
Here's
told
the
that
biggest thing that makes no sense to me now, Kranky, and then I'm going to leave you. Where I'm so upset. Whisper. I saw Whisper coming on, one of your most impactful player in the little time that he got. You don't select Whisper, and the reason is he doesn't clock enough minutes at the Leicester City in Championship. You say you select Pinnock because Pinnock, even though he doesn't clock enough minutes, is playing at the highest level. Now, you select some Premier League players over Whisper, and they're playing at a much way lower level than Whisper. Championship is a top 6 league. It makes no common sense to me, so maybe you guys can explain it.
we cannot. I'm going to answer for Kranky. I am going to answer for Kranky. He's a big man, but never answer him. We cannot. And let me tell you, I listened to Mr. Speed's interview. Mr. Speed take some people for idiot and jackass, you know. Let me tell you something. You can't want to go on some program and bad up some people, you know, and puff up your little chest, you know. You are a coaching midget. Your coaching
No name
skills
calling, Kranky. No name calling.
no,
I'm gonna call
I'm
you.
magical, meaning they're short. You're short on coaching skills. So let me tell you what. A man asked a question and said, why were 15 of the players who were in the played against Curacao, why were they left out of this squad when you were looking to build this squad? And Mr. Speed's response was that he was not accountable or response for what happened in November. Now, what kind of stupid answer that is? The people want to know why particular players were overlooked. And I will give you one. We would have needed a goal at some point to qualify. As a matter of fact, we'd have needed 2 goals to qualify outright without going to penalties. I don't see why, and I would want an explanation. My question would be, our probably highest scoring midfielder is John Russell. Why, even though he was not available for the New Caledonia game, I don't see why John Russell wouldn't have been included in the squad, knowing that we would have needed a goal at some point against DR Congo, unless we were going to pens. It doesn't make sense to me.
John Russell, I wasn't having John Russell in my team. John Russell, to me, didn't deserve to be in the team. He wasn't playing well. He scored goals, but he didn't contribute in the midfield. So I'm not have John Russell in my team.
I am talking about when you have gone to extra time and you need the 15 minutes or whenever, when it comes down to crunch time. I mean, I'm not trying to bring him on to play an entire game.
Right.
But when a goal is needed. So their questions abound, like real questions for Mr. Speed. Real questions. Like if I had a choice of number, hold on.
Okay.
If I had a choice of
Go ahead.
if I had a choice of number 9, and I'm saying this with my hand on the heart, I would bring Michael Antonio over Jamal Lowe. Right? If I were going to hang my hat on the thing. Jamal Lowe is not a prolific goal scorer. Jamal Lowe is a championship level number 9 who goes on the field and runs hard and works hard and pops up with the occasional goal. That's not what was needed. The game did bigger than Jamal Lowe. Would not be in my squad. It was the biggest surprise. Now, if all you're doing and your A-licensed coach is doing is going through what I call it, wise scout or transfer market, whatever it is, and looking to see who played the most minutes, that's what it seems to be. That's what the whole coaching is. It's not who would fit into this system or these are the horses for courses. That didn't seem to count for diddly squat. Because at some point you must have known that New Caledonia were going to set up in a low block, or that DR Congo is a team that sets up in a block and wait to counter you. So you would have needed a player like Ravel Morrison to unlock the game with a moment of football genius. So for me, Ravel Morrison picked himself in the squad.
But did Ravel Morrison satisfy the criteria? Remember, he has a criteria.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the performance one, no. No, the performance one, supposed in terms of running, in terms of distance covered, no. But I didn't really care because I don't think some other people satisfied it.
Well, I tell you, I can just picture the game now, looking back and seeing Whisper warming up for those half an hour. Whisper warming up for those half an hour, and the value that he showed.
Who was he? Who was he going in the game for?
No, I don't know in terms of who's going to game for. They said everybody was tired. So, Bailey, definitely, yeah. Bailey would have made sense because Bailey was pretty much done in the overtime.
He was done in the first half.
Well, I wouldn't go so far, but.
Well, I would go so far. I would probably say he was done in the warm-up.
So I'm gonna get beaten for this. I think I know who Congo's best player with, and it was not a Congo player. Congo's best player was not a Congo player.
Bailey?
Yeah, it was Congo. It was Bailey.
He's probably going to get a national award from Congo because he gave the ball to them so often.
So you blame the coach. So you blame the coach again for not taking him out.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. Seriously.
So I don't support, but I have to tell you though, I saw a poll done somewhere where it's only like 55 to 45%. 45% of the people. I don't know if this is the JFF bot and the whole staff and everybody who want a free jersey. But people are supporting this idea of Speid and the local coach. That we must go local. And the foreign man, them fail.
No, I think the president came out and said it.
No, they're supporting the presidency stance. But I believe that if you're doing that, you cannot exclude Jamaican citizens from getting a job in Jamaica. If I believe that it is right to say that you would like the coach to live in Jamaica, I have no difficulty with that. But I'm sure Darren Moore would come and live here. I'm sure Paul would come and live here. I'm sure Dan Burton would come and live here.
Then Paul Hall burn his bridges with the JFF. You know, JFF don't forget him.
Them man, they bleed.
With that said, Kranky and Cataract, qualification, with that said, how many Jamaican coaches are qualified to coach a Jamaica team?
Tapa alone. And Miguel
No, based on certification. No. I'm not talking about the experience part that Kranky mentioned. I'm talking about the paper part, doctor.
No, because the requirement is not a pro license until 2030. That's right. So you can use an A license and coach a team.
Right.
I'm asking you, how many?
I think Tapa has A. Doesn't Tapa has A? I think Tapa has A. There are about 4 or 5 in Jamaica that have A. I think Speid have the A. Tapa have the A. I'm almost sure Rudolph probably have the A.
Coley, Speid,
Coley has pro. Coley is the only pro.
Pro.
No, but screw that. But I'm saying to you,
there's about 4 or 5. There's about 4 or 5 of them that has A and above that can coach a national team.
Right. So let's eliminate Coley then. Of who would you choose, Cataract?
Theodore. Who would I choose? Tomorrow morning, Darren Moore.
No, man, I'm talking about the Jamaicans born.
Darren Moore is Jamaican.
Well, he said Jamaican. You have the local Jamaican.
Thank you.
If you're overseas, you're not Jamaican. If you're overseas, you're not Jamaican.
Based on their criteria.
He's saying Darren Moore.
To Ricardo Fuller, if you want Jamaican bad. Give job to Ricardo.
No, man. No, the criteria is also they want them to live there.
Yes, what I'm saying to you, them man, they will come and live there.
Who's Jamaican based? Who's living in Jamaica that are qualified? Living.
Now we're going to live it in Jamaica. Because who is living it dead up? Who's living at Mona and
you having a serious conversation or what?
I am having a serious conversation. I tell you
so
that
I'm asking you a question.
Theodore
no, what he said.
Tapa, Whitmore.
No, but what
Theodore.
Taylor is saying, Diego, that the criteria needs to be changed. He said the
No,
criteria.
me not, but him can't change the criteria. I'm not a poem, just a chat. Him can't change criteria. We're talking about
No, but what
criteria
You
is set.
asked me who I would select.
All right, so what's the three? What's the three? Just say it again. I think you just said it.
I said Theodore Tapper Whitmore from start from the open moment to the Tapper.
No,
Yeah, yes.
listen. I know that. But I all right. Forget. I would go back to Tapper. So we can have opinions.
You wouldn't, but I would.
Right. So what's the other two now? Is the Kranky? Tell me.
Me no want none of them.
Cataract. Take the thing for comedy sometime.
No,
Who's
it's not
the
a
other two
problem.
then
I
is-
don't want none of them. You
So
think
hold
you
on,
want...
Kranky.
Diego. If you keep going at that
Hold on,
rate...
no.
Right, go on.
So Speed is the other one living there. Tapper, who's the third one? Living in Jamaica.
I don't know them. Them go on the course. Never follow the
Kranky, do you know Kranky? Who's the third one?
My understanding that there's about 4 or 5 people who have it. If I'm not mistaken, I think the new technical director probably qualified.
Andrew Price.
Speed,
Oh,
Andrew
Donzo?
Price. No,
Who's
Andrew
the
Price.
director?
Andrew Peart.
Andrew Pierre.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he has. I think Speed has. I think Tapper has. There's about 5 people. I'm not sure if Rudolph Haston has. He probably does. And there's one more.
Okay, so out of the 3, Kranky,
Yeah.
who would you take now between Speed?
But I wouldn't do that though, Diego. I can't do that, Diego. My view is Diego. No, wait, my view.
You guys are afraid to answer questions.
No, it's not
Okay,
afraid to answer
boss.
question. No, but you guys, you're trying to box me, and I'm not
I
boxing
gotta
you.
run anyway.
All right,
Go ahead.
No, my point is this: go do a coaching search. Go search for a competent coach.
No, I know that. I know. I would do the same thing because I would open up to foreign coaches also.
Yeah,
I just want to see in terms of locally, who would you guys choose locally? That's all.
No.
Whitmore.
Go back to field. Yeah, cause Speed to field.
Yeah, we can't go Speed when we say Speed field. So I contradict myself. We can't go Miguel Cole, can have no international experience. We can't go back to Tapper because Tapper running course. Right? We can't say nobody. We can't do that.
We understand cataract. You want him say no rewards failure, but you want reward Tapper.
No, but you ask a question. That's what I'm saying to you. You're asking the question until you're going to get. Which of them you're going to select? That Mr. Speed address.
All right, Cataract. Thanks for clearing up the thing though about the boycott. Yeah.
No, but thank you. But I want to say this. So let me be clear to you.
Diego,
when you hang up, you can listen and Kranky. I cataract, and I said this on the time I was with supporting
Raymond. Yeah.
Right. This is what I wrote to Mr. Anderson. Part of my condition to support. I believe that we needed a elite international pro-licensed coach. Elite. And I asked, and it wasn't objected to, that my recommendation would have been that on day 1 of the administration, a call be made to one Jose Mourinho, because I believed that that was the international coach that could have taken Jamaica, stand up to even my supported administration, Raymond, because them are the saint, you know, right? And I would say them wouldn't try overrun and thing, but I believe that Jose Mourinho, when I look at all the
OYPM.
Could you allow me to speak? That day 1, and if he was interested and willing, that I would have gone to Adidas and asked them out of our future earnings or whatever it is to sponsor.
Your future earnings campaign. I don't want 8 years of contract campaign. What are you talking about? Man, more than 1 year than the whole Adidas contract. No way I was thinking, you're very cheap.
I don't know.
You know what we should do? We should go after the coach of Coach Canada, the US coach of Coach Canada. People like him to go after.
And that's another elite coach. Right?
He's a good enough coach. He's doing well with Canada. He's doing really well with Canada.
I believe.
Well, I'll leave you with this.
Yeah, man.
We can just look forward now that Speed will be the coach.
Yes, that is true.
That is done deal. Signed and delivered.
Yep.
It's sign and deliver. I agree.
Okay, guys, have a good night. Good
Get
conversation.
Thanks, Diego.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I believe that your structure, the recruitment, I don't think that Speed believes in it. I mean, I don't hear him say it, but I think we're going to go back to a largely local based team.
No, nonsense. I don't agree with you on Speed. This Speed go local based team when you go. This Speed go local based when you go compare
this is a high stakes poker game. That was just we went into. I believe now over the long term, they're going to the stances. We don't have any money to fly in no player from England, no overseas. We don't have money. So everything I'm going to do in Jamaica.
So here's what I think would happen, people. Here's a logical thing that would happen.
I read between the lines.
I think we don't talk for the whole section. Make it 2 sections now. Lord have mercy. You don't talk for about 2 hours. I'm trying to explain. You said no, we can't talk. So this is some people. I think they got a 2-tier approach. They will try as best as possible to bring as many local players as possible to search the island for the raw talent out there, which probably hasn't been exposed, and expose the talent internationally. They will also do, I hope, well, they're not going to do it, a much better job of sourcing talent that fit what Rudolph Speid wants to do, and they have a better process of naturalizing those talent. Some of those players you see now in this team will not be in this team going forward. Rudolph want to win. Rudolph is a smart man, don't get me wrong, but he failed. That's why we can't support failure. But at the same time, I believe what he will do is 2-tier. A lot of local players, a lot of local games, the local matches. 1 is to get him international experience, and 2 to get the players experience and identify those talent that are out there and say, you know what, they can be a difference maker. There's some of them out there, they're just hidden and need to be nurtured, just like what Simonis did. And then overseas to say, you know what, can we get a better recruiting process? Because no, he's involved in them. Before he wasn't involved. You guys don't realize that. Rudolph didn't give a damn before. Rudolph just do him thing when he do him, then get involved at all. Now he's involved is a different construct. You see what he did last time? He recruited about 5 players, 3 came, and then get naturalized in no time. So he's going to naturalize as many as he can that satisfy what I'm trying to do, and bring them in, and we'll have a cohesive unit. That's my view. The floor is yours, Cataract. You know.
No. I wasn't going to be lengthy. Can I remember what I was going to say?
We said 15 minutes, and now it was half a while. But go on, 3 more minutes.
Look here. I wish Jamaica the best, right? But I'm just telling you, I believe it's going to be, they're going to use the excuse of the fundamental belief that the players are here in Jamaica and then just need a boss. Because they're not even concerned with the players who have left, who have become professionals throughout Europe and across the United States. They're not interested
Because they don't have a mechanism to track them. It's not that they're not interested in them. They haven't put together a mechanism to track them. So here's the thing, Nations League coming up at the end of this year, right? They're going to England to play in Unity Cup. Then they're going to play a lot of English players over there because they say cost is important. Then they're going to have Nations League coming up. They got to have the best team for Nations League, because Nations League means money. If you go to the semifinal and final, where you get $500,000 or whatever the number is, it's big money. For them anyway. It's not 12 million, but it's big money.
It's not important when it comes to flying from Jamaica, because apparently when you fly from Jamaica to England, you pay $100 for the ticket. But when you fly from England to Jamaica, you pay $1,500.
Well, they probably fly them economy versus business class, and that's probably
the
difference.
They can load up a plane of local players and go England. That's what they did. But so let me also stick this in. I believe we need to have an annual match against Catalonia. What's the other team? There were 2 teams in Spain that are not recognized.
I don't know about the Barcelona people, the Catalonia people.
No, Catalonia can play, and they're always looking for teams to play. They play Cuba, they play Venezuela. Because it's a political thing, right? But in that game, you can play teams that you can utilize the players who don't have a passport yet.
My view on that is a little bit different, though. I think the Catalonia game is one you play to build relationship with people from Barcelona to allow you to get access to their coaching and their methodology. That's the way I read those stuff.
It's not really Barcelona. You know.
No, I know it's not Barcelona, but Catalonia, Barcelona.
Yeah,
Catalonia, Barcelona.
No, but there are 3 clubs there, man. There are 3 clubs.
No, I know, but I'm saying Catalonia, Barcelona. We know that work. We understand that.
I think
they're the most influential club in that arena.
I believe it's the other club that you would get the relationship with. I don't think Barcelona in a relationship with Jamaica. But the other club again,
No, but I'm saying you get access to that environment and then you get introductions, right? No, I'm saying it's not about that. You get access to that environment, then you can figure out a way to get access to those people. Because the Catalonians must have that access, whatever they want to play as a country. That's how it works. You're trying to get access to Barcelona to then leverage their ability, their people. Like they're doing Independiente in Ecuador does that. Bring over Barcelona coaches, that's why they sell so much players. But yeah, people can coach midfielders. Anyway, Cataract, we're done. 11 o'clock.
Yeah, man. We're done. But
thanks for coming on, Cataract. Appreciate it, sir.
No to speed. Yes, the Cataract.
By the way, people, before you leave, I'm trying to get to 16 subscribers. So these people say I can buy things, can heat their art out. I had about 300 and something during the last week. So keep subscribing to the program, people. And do me a favor, hit the like button. Please subscribe. I need about 64, I think, for 16,000. And let them weep and cry as much as they like to cry, like little babies.
No, man, not start no war, man.
The war's already started. The war's already started. People support each other. Support each other. Let them cry.
Thursday night, down at Rum Lane, Stone Love and Cataract.
We don't believe in rum, people. We don't drink.
It's Rum Lane. Last Street then. It's the corner of Rum Lane and Last Street downtown. Stone Love, Cataract.
All right. Come on, publish it. Come advertise party. Anyway, thank you, Cataract, for being here.
Friday night, York Street in Franklin Town. That's Top Road. Cataract again. That's over there for the east, you know, but Stone of Cataract.
All right, Cataract. Have a good night, sir. Bless. Good night, everyone. Thanks for being here. All right. I appreciate you being here, everyone. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoy the program. And please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. As I said, we're trying to get to 16,000. Well, we're trying to get to 20,000 I see on the screen, but we're going to start with 16 first. All right? Peace out, everyone. Have a good night. Bless.